we're also going to do like a lot of Q&A if you guys got questions. This is going to be a very chat-orientated stream today because I'm still working with the same patch, 12.3, 112.3. So a lot of the same things are in the game as last time. So not much has changed in that effect. But we do need a simple scenario to kind of get us started here. And something where we're going to have contacts. Like we did the ASW training, and that was very hard to get contact on that one. So let's do SUW. This one says, past 20 days, a cruise ship carrying 5,000 passengers has been stranded. Okay. Meanwhile, multiple countries have denied. Okay. Oh, they have the plague. Oh, that's not good. So China's dispatching the Type 75 LHP, refitted as a hospital ship. Okay, that's cool. This task force is expected to arrive in a few hours. So China's going to come and try and help these people on a cruise ship that are sick. Following concerns over the spread of the Black Plague, the President of the United States has deemed the risk too high and ordered submarine force to sink the cruise ship. Oh my God, we're the bad guys. I kind of like that, but that's weird. We're not going to kill 5,000 people though. That's no. But we are. Here's what we are going to do: is we're going to play the game, and we're going to go over like some of the sonar displays. I have a couple specific goals in mind with like the high frequency sonar and Demon. We're going to figure out Demon today. That's something I want to do. It's not explained at all. It's not even mentioned in the book that comes with the game. Yet it's in the game, so we got to figure that out today. The book's not complete. That's probably why it's not mentioned. They're still writing it. God bless them. All right, let's figure out where we're going, what we're doing. Let's do that. We're going to put on some fathometer here. See how much feet we got below the keel. Thousands of feet, thousands and thousands of feet. So probably going to go to fathoms. Whenever it's that deep, you kind of want to be in fathoms. Yeah. Hey, Maddie D, happy birthday. Lots of people have a birthday today. It's not just you. Who else is it? There's somebody else on our Discord that, oh, it's Lomax. Happy birthday, Mr. Lomax. Yep. Is he in the chat? He might be in the chat. That might be who you were saying happy birthday to. I don't know. But yeah, it's Lomax's birthday, not mine. It's not my birthday. Nope. I'm not a year older yet. I'm hanging on to this year as long as it lets me. Okay, so yeah, cruise ship and a large combat vessel, probably escorted too. Let's see what we have for. We're at 150 feet. We're at 5 knots. Course 030. Let's go to the chart. We'll do the chart in just a second. Let me finish setting my displays here. I said let's go to the chart, and then I didn't go to the chart. Welcome to it. There it is. This is the chart here. All right, so we're in the middle of South China Sea. We don't have a threat vector. Nope. So we've got to figure this out on our own. All right, so that's 90 miles to give us some perspective. Yeah, I like doing that. We'll leave that there on the chart. Okay, oh yeah, I looked it up today. This is the electronic command or chart data station. Yeah, ECDIS. Yeah. So, still called chart for short. That hasn't changed. All right, just doing some housekeeping here. Whenever I start a new scenario, I kind of set up the displays the way that I like it. You're going to find your own, so I'm not even going to try and tell you what to do. I'm not your dad. All right, let's see if we got any messages waiting on us. No. All right, the first thing we want to do is see if we have any kind of update. How do I get out of here? Let's see if we have any kind of update to the orders. So we're going to go to periscope depth. Let's, sure. I'll assign the auto crew. I'm slowly getting better at the fire control. That's a work in progress for me. I want the chart up on that one. Yeah. All right, so this is kind of how I set up my room. Let's go back up a little bit. Put my cursor where that thing doesn't pop up. So right in front of me, I got the chart. I have sonar, and I have the fathometer where I can see if it's shallow or not, and if I need to like pay more attention to it. The big thing that I look for here, because way back there you can't really read it, is if the top secure deep is green. If it's green, it's fine. If it's yellow, it's getting shallower. Time to pay attention. If it's red, it's time to come over here, slow down, and change depth. Shallow. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put out the towed array, just one. Let's extend the fat line. This should take about 30 seconds now that we've kind of fixed that. And we're going to come to periscope depth if we have no contacts. Just make sure we don't have any contacts first. We'll read some chat while we do it. How y'all doing? Yeah, Matty D resubscribed for 56 months. That's like a long time. Hope y'all are having a great holiday. I am curious. I know we have a large amount of viewers that live in Europe. And even if you're an American stationed in Europe, I'm curious, is today a holiday in Europe as well, or is this like an American one? I'm not sure. Electronic chart display information system. That's what the IS is. Yeah. Thank you, Crazy. Yeah. Happy hunting from Alonzo. Thank you. Rumble reporting for duty. Thank you, Alonzo. Alonzo's holding down the Rumbles, oftentimes by himself. But hey, maybe one day. I'll tell you this, Alonzo. I can't figure out Rumble at all. So I know how to stream to it. But if you need any permissions to change things, let me know, because I want you to kind of run this stream forever on Rumble, and we'll grow the audience together. And once we start getting a lot of viewers over there, if you need help, we'll get you some more moderators. But the first thing is learning that freaking website. It's not intuitive to me. I don't know how to do it. I tried figuring it out and I failed. Mark 48 and harpoon, 10 of each on the stows. Okay. Got it. All right, sonar. Do we have any contacts? I don't see any, but let's configure our sonar displays as well while we're here. So that's towed array, that's WA, and that's sphere. I'm going to call it the sphere, even though it's the lab. So you guys will just have to deal with that. Let's make sure audio is working good today. Audio works great. So we're going to answer a lot of questions. I'm going to explain how these displays work. It's up to you guys to kind of carry that conversation, because I don't know what you guys do and don't know in the chat. So I've got chats up here. I'll be referencing that a lot today, and we're going to go over that. Our goal is to get to periscope depth, figure out where the contacts are, and then close within about 10,000 yards, that's 5 miles, of the cruise ship. I'm going to start by doing that. No contacts, so let's go ahead and make our depth 5 feet. Head 1/3. Yeah, course 030 is just as good as any other course, since we have no idea what we're supposed to do or where we're supposed to go. I didn't speed up because we might be driving the wrong direction. I don't want to be going faster the wrong direction. So we'll go ahead and get on the scope. I got to get used to these fast keys. So let's, yeah, okay. Trying to remember that. This is the periscope, also called the photonics mast. We're going to raise this bad boy up here. You don't ever want to raise this up if you're going really fast. You could damage it. Just a little realism for you. Okay, stability. Let's turn on stability. Let's change my color to the red. For me, I can see the red best. Every one of you is going to have your own preferences, so don't just do what I do when it comes to this type of stuff. Let's warm up the range laser, so that's ready to go. And we're at 124 feet, coming to 5 feet now, coming up. Charles is here. HT1 arriving. Come on aboard. Get in here. What happens when you go below crush depth? Well, you get crushed. Yeah. That was an easy one. I like that question. Well done, Bullet. Yeah. Be like Bullet. Ask me easy questions. Yay. Got Vino's here. And somebody named Artemis. Welcome to my stream, Artemis. Somebody said it was a bank holiday in Finland. Okay. So it's not just an American one. Okay, cool. I think it's a bank holiday here too. But it's also a federal holiday, which I think bank and federal, probably the same. I don't know of any bank holidays that aren't federal. There might be. Who knows? I don't keep up with that stuff. Hey, we got a contact to the northeast. Well, I guess it is northeast, yeah. Let's see what we got over there. We're at 090 feet coming up. Let me turn up some volume, a little bit of game volume. I try not to blow y'all's eardrums out. All right, we got some sea state up here. Looks like a sea state 3. Just judging by the bottom of the waves. Yeah, it could be, it might be rough up here. Oh, scope's awash. Let's try that again. Get us up, Dive. Come on. You want 2/3 bell? What do you want? Dive's struggling right now. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, this is like sea state 4. Holy smokes. All right. Wow, we're at 73 feet. Oh my God. These are like 10-foot swells. What the fuck's that? Ooh, okay, hold on. What am I doing? What am I doing? There we go. That's what I meant to do. I hit the wrong button. There's a lot of haze, so I went to the thermal. All right, no close contacts. All right, no airborne contacts. Let's go to IR. IR cuts through the haze at a longer range than thermal. So let's see. Fire control put me on the bearing of these contacts beginning with Sierra 1. Okay. Got no visual there. Let's go to, oh, that was Sierra 3. Let's go to Sierra 1 here. Sierra 1 and Sierra 4. Ooh, might have something there. Hold on. Yeah, haze is limiting line of sight to shorter than normal. Okay. No visual on Sierra 5. Yep. Oh, no. It's just a spot. Okay. Come on, baby. There we go. Take another quick peek behind us here. Verify no close contacts. Yep. And then let's get zoomed in on this. I'm getting better controlling the... There we go. We have visual contact. All right, so Sierra 6 is our closest contact. Bearing north. So I've kind of learned... I'm still trying to figure out my own procedure here. But I'm not going to complicate the fire control picture with the Victor contact right now. There we go. Let's try that. All right. I'm not getting a return on the laser because of the haze. Down. Okay. Let's go to sonar, see what the sonar picture looks like. So this is really good. So to begin the stream, if there's any chance the devs ever watch this, I recommend moving the trackers from the top of the display to each gram. So the towed array tracker is only visible, even though it'll always be over here, but on the display, whichever Sierra number is tracking a towed array contact, it's right here in this gap, so they don't overlap each other at the top. Because the reason why we have Sierra whatever 6 and 7 there, it could be 5 and 7, it's hard to tell, is because all the trackers on that trace are at the top of the screen. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying it'd be easier to read if the towed array tracker was down here and the spherical tracker was up there, and the WA tracker, if there was one, would be right there, you know. I think that'd be a nice change. Help us identify targets. Okay, we got Sierra 8 here. Now, I said Sierra 6 was the closest, so that's this knucklehead right here. Let's go ahead and listen to him. All All right, so that is a fast, clean contact. That could be a warship. It sounds a lot like a warship. So just take a listen to that, clip this if you have to. All right. So I think this would be a really good candidate for our demon analysis. Real quick, let me just, yeah, not surprised. Same. Let me just do this real quick. Okay, bottom bounce, yeah. Okay. All right, so here's demon for Sierra 6. And, oh, here we go. Turn the audio off. Okay, so I'm going to figure this out. So here are my choices. We're trying to figure out what these lines mean. I know what they mean. What do they mean in this game? So the first one, if I mouse over it, it says for a 4-bladed screw, it sounds like a 5 to me. So we'll call it a 5. So 36 RPM. Well, it's definitely not that. He's going very fast. So this is the first blade. This is the second blade, third, fourth, fifth would be like right here. So about 300 RPM. 311 we'll call it. I'll be precise. It's printing like a 4. So if it's 5-bladed, it's that. If it's a 4-bladed, it's 243 RPM. And then if I use this line, which would be like number 6, is going to be, it says 362 RPM. So what we want to do is we want to classify this target, see how many blades it has. Once we classify it, we'll know for sure. And then we'll be able to know what the RPM is, assuming he doesn't change RPM. And that will tell us which one of these lines we want to actually measure to get the answer. This is what's not in the book. And this could be one sentence. They could put this in the book today. Tell us what line do I line up to measure RPM in this video game? That's all we need to know. You don't need to make that hard. And why is that not in the book? So, anyway, focus. So, CR3 is going to cross our bow. Whenever you leave demon, you need to stop it. It's going to stop that. I'm not going to update narrowband because I want to keep listening to it. But as we get closer, we're going to be able to visually identify this contact pretty soon, I believe. Okay. So let's come back out to the walking display. I'm happy with the course we're on. So let's bring up the Paravis again. Okay. Kind of looks like it might be a merchant. It's really hard to tell. Really hard to tell right there. Okay, I want to take a look at Sierra 1 and 3 again because they have bearing rate. They're driving north. But we don't see them, so they're not close. They're just fast. Faster than Sierra 6 is going across our bow. Okay. Just want to make sure we don't run into anything while we're up here. Being at periscope depth is very dangerous. Not just for detection, but for collision. Okay. Let's go and lower that back down. And before I move on to the next thing, I'm going to catch up. Where do you guys want to start with the questions? Go ahead and ask your questions now, and we'll start knocking them out. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Preston over on YouTube. He says, will they share probability of detection related to the angle on the bow of ownership to active? That's one of the things I'm going to figure out today. We're going to go over active, high frequency active today. I can't do it until I get closer though. We're too far away for high frequency active. So that's what we're working on. And as far as detection goes, I don't know, because the AI reaction isn't implemented in the game yet. So we'll know that once we start seeing it. Did I get your email pic of the Astute? Oh, I probably did. I did check my email today. What email did you send it to? Was it the Aaron at Subbrief email? Okay. That's for Mr. Sarat or Slarat. How realistic is this to what I experienced? Well, the vibe is pretty realistic. I mean, I can almost smell the Naga hide. I was never on a Virginia class as a sailor, so I've never stood in this room, right? So that I can't say is realistic because I wasn't there. I've seen lots of pictures. I know sailors who are on the Virginia class, Block 1 through Block 3. So this appears to be very realistic. As far as the sonar goes, the Block 1 sonar, which is the one that I used at the end of my career, is very realistic. I'm surprised at how realistic it is, except for the Demon display. I don't know why Demon's so hard. They didn't get it right in Jane's 688. It was in Dangerous Waters. It's not one-to-one. The information's there, but it's not the same display. I don't know why you can have all these other displays be accurate, but Demon. I don't know why. I wish I did know why. But it feels pretty realistic. Like the fire control, I recognize a lot of the fire control, which is odd. Well, fire control is just math. So maybe that's why I recognize it, because I'm like, I've seen that before. The inputs and stuff are different. Like angle on the bow kicked my butt for like an hour like 2 weeks ago. I was trying to figure that out. I could put in starboard, but not port. Finally, someone in chat was like, try negative numbers. And that is how you do it. You put in the negative numbers for the other side. Yeah. So that was kind of funny. This looks very realistic to me. Like they clearly had professional technical assistance, probably from the U.S. Navy and contractors and others, maybe volunteers, to learn the little details. Not just like where the chicken switches are, but the bubble. This isn't in any book, and it's in very few photos. But the bubble's right here. Let's take a look at it. That little thing, it looks like a solid red thing. It's actually a gap of air. Like whenever you have a level at home, if you're into carpentry or machinery, in your garage, and you have a level to make sure that whatever you're making is even, right? That's what this is. Yeah. And there's more than one, because that's lefty-righty. Up here's uppy-downy. They got both. That's the technical names. That's what we call them, And so, yeah, it's really realistic. Oh, it's been 9 days since our last mishap. That's good, man. You guys are doing great. Good job, crew. Pizza party for everybody after the stream. Yeah, very realistic. As far as I can tell. I have to caveat a lot of that. Whenever this 688i comes out, or 688 class, I'll give you a much better feel, because that's what I was actually on. Great question, though. Hey, Army Junior, welcome aboard. Yes, good to see you. We have Defender Themis. Themis, welcome. Yeah. 9 days since our last war crime. Yeah, that's what it is. Last war crime. He says, I love that I joined when Jive is nerding out. Yeah, I do. I nerd out a lot. This game has set me back in time, like mentally. Like I love it. It's been a long, long time since I did any of this for real. So I'm going to inevitably make mistakes, especially with the fire control. I never qualified fire control because that was above and beyond there was no reason to. But a lot of my friends, we all got along underway. And after watch or off watch, I would sit on the fire control with them, one, to keep them awake on the mid-watch. But I'd also learned how to, stack the dots, as they say. I was never that good at it, but I understood eventually through, persistence and boredom, how to do it. And one thing that I did, like, oh my God, look at all the W's I made. Yay. Okay. So like for this right here, this was kind of new. Like back in my day, we had the Mark 117 console, which is not in this game. That's ancient. It's like 1960s technology that we were using in the 90s because save money, not buy a new one. It works fine. And it had 4 dials, 4 little black roundy, spinny, left, right rheostats, potentiometers, like you're turning the volume up on your radio. If you even do that, it's probably touchscreen now, but we used to have knobs on things a long time ago. And there was only 4 for fire control. I was like, this is the easiest thing in the world. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was like playing, kindergarten, play school. One was like speed, and it was like his 4 things: course, speed, range. What was the 4th one? Was it bearing? It might have been bearing. And you could individually maneuver those 4 wheels instead of typing it in here. And, I'm old manning out on you right now, But one thing that is very realistic about the fire control, I remember this specifically, is the range cursor, the ruler. This thing is very real. Let me see if I can do this. So like we only have 1 leg of data on this Sierra contact. I think it says Sierra 3. It's either Sierra 1 or Sierra 3. And so we have all these lines and they're not crossing each other, which is good. That just means that we're both on the same side of the line of sight, going roughly the same direction. Same side of the line of sight, period. Not necessarily the same direction. And what we would do to kind of tighten that up is we would change course. So like I would take his bearing and I would want to come over here somewhere, drive the boat another direction. And then you definitely get across. And that's like his minimum range. And then, but what we could do right now, depending on his speed, see, like faster contacts look like that. Slower contacts look like this. And you kind of want to line it up. But with 1 leg of data, I could put this anywhere, honestly. Oh my God, that lines up. That's not bad. Okay, that's a good starting point. I'm going to apply this. The range is wrong, but whatever. But that's a reasonable solution right there. It's starting to not stack up right here though. Anyway, so everybody's north. Oh no, if everybody's going north, then we're going to have to sprint to the north to get closer. Okay, that's interesting. Anyway, so to answer the question, yeah, the Vibe is good. The Sonar is good. This version of Sonar I did not use in real life. I used the previous one. That's also in the game. If you go to if you want to use the Block 1 Virginia, that Sonar is the one that I used. So, and that one's right on. Looks good. Okay, so everything's good here. No matter what, we're going to have to get a range on Sierra 6. Let's just see if I can see it visually. If we're not physically closer, like visually closer, then we're gonna. Whoa, there we go. He could be going away from. I can't really tell. I say we go deep and we run north. Let's do that. Let's lower all masted antennas. Come up here to the pilot station. What you want to do here, anytime you want to dive, make sure you have a green board. We're already underwater, so yeah, better have a green board. But also hit retract all masted antennas in case you have a BRA 34 that's up there. They don't call it the BRA 34. That's what it used to be called. It's probably a new version. And the HDR mast, you don't want to forget that they're up. So just hit the retract all masted antennas, and then you can go, let's make our depth say 200 feet. And we are going to turn to the north and run up that way once we get down a little bit. Oh, the Etch-a-Sketch of Death. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. It's like it is like an Etch-a-Sketch button. Yeah. Army says, you need to buy this game? Yeah, as soon as it comes out. They're working on getting it released. I know a lot of you guys are not happy about that. They know that too. Everybody's not happy. So they are working on getting it out into early access. Old man shake stick that technology. Yes, I know. Yeah, I can't deny it. I can't believe I've become that person. I used to make fun of the old man, yelling at clouds. There's a reason why that meme exists, right? That was my granddad. Yeah, that was Pops. I was like, Pops, why are you so mad? He's like, you don't know how good you have it. I was like, I'm fine. I'm not complaining. He would always tell me about how good I had it. And now I see this and I'm like, there's so many tools. This sonar system does everything for you, but you got to be careful. It does things wrong too. Like, it'll give you a bad range. Do not trust these ranges that are sitting over here on this list. Do not use these, man. Come up with your own. Like this wall range that's 6,000 yards away, that's no way that's true. No way that's true. So this is something that I need to get used to. So do you see how these traces, they didn't fade, they just like cut off. And the reason why that is we just went below the layer. Okay, so let's take a look at this layer. This layer is extremely weak. Like, this is one of the weakest layers I've ever seen. Let's look at Sierra 3. Let's look down the bearing of Sierra 3. Sierra 3 was our strongest contact, both Sierra 3 and Sierra 2. And what determines if a layer is strong or weak or somewhere in the middle is the difference in sound velocity at layer depth. And this line shows what sound velocity is, the white line. So up here at the surface, it's this number, whatever that is, and then it goes almost straight down to where it begins to go this way, right, to the left. And it's a significant change, but going from near ISO velocity, which is nearly consistent, to this change here, I would not expect to see that type of shutoff. I would see the contact get weaker and maybe even fade, but it wouldn't happen instantly. So I know they're actually modeling sound propagation in the video game. I think they need to tweak the model a little bit, because this seems awfully dramatic of a loss of contact for a layer that is not very strong. I would call this a weak layer. Yeah. A strong layer would have a very significant change to the left right here. And at the top, above the layer, you would want to see a significant change to the left. This should look like a beak. It should look like a point, a little arrowhead, to do something like that. There's no fading. So I think the model is working. I think they need to adjust the formulas. Put some time into that to make the calculation using Snell's law a little more realistic. And that'll come with time and experience and with the devs kind of fudging around with the back end of the game. Okay. That's a feedback on the visual part of that. Because if I saw that, I would be like, the layer is a piece of concrete. There is no sound getting through it, which is what appears to be happening. But sound is definitely getting through this layer. This is not strong enough to hold anything. And I kind of know what they're not modeling. There's a key component that they're not modeling. Or if they are modeling, it's not being modeled in this case. And that is frequency. And that may not be in the commercial part of the game, because we're using an unclassified version of this game. And so if they modeled frequency, that might throw it into the the classified part. And that's probably what it is. I'm gonna have to get used to it, I think. I'm probably gonna have to get used to this, because this display is doing a hell of a lot more than it appears to be doing. But we're not gonna really talk about it. I'm going above and beyond. I'm trying to justify to myself why it's this dramatic of a shutoff. And I've kind of figured it out. And it's because we're using commercial software and not public one. I'm sorry, not the Navy one. And the reason why I keep referencing the Navy, by the way, is the Navy uses this program in a Linux language for training. And it has all the bells and whistles. It does all the math. We have a commercial version that uses the video game engine called Unity and does not do all the math. So If you want the real version, you have to join the Navy. And then you get to play this game in the trainer. You get paid to do this. Yeah, you go in the Navy. Yeah. I mean, you got to do other things. You got to say yes, sir, a lot, salute. You got to clean everything twice. There's a lot of that. But whenever you're done with that, guess what you get to do? You get to play modern naval warfare with a better game engine. Yeah. It's fun. Okay, let's go to the north and run. Okay, change your heading. Can't imagine getting paid to play this. Maybe you guys don't know how good you have it. All right, let's try and do a standard bell and make sure it doesn't break our towed array. Remember, with this game, you can break your towed arrays very easily by going fast. The thin line towed array is very fragile. A standard bell would probably break the thin line. Fat line, I don't expect it to break at a standard bell. That's why it's standard. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If I break it, we're kind of screwed. And we're going to run to the north. Okay, now how long do we want to run to the north? We're going to be doing 15 knots, right? How far away is CR2? We saw it visually. Couldn't get a good laser range, but it was at least, it was like a half a division high power. And if it's a merchant, with like 120-foot masthead height, that's probably like, I'll do some fudging math and say 12 miles. And this is 10 miles. So this is probably a decent range, which means that course is probably good. So he's moving directly away from us. We're in a race. So we got to go much faster than he's actually going to catch him. Okay. So I think his speed was 10 knots is what we said. And we're doing, 15? That's going to take forever. It's going to take hours. What's our speed up here? Yeah, 15 knots. So what we'll do, so we can go faster, I'm going to go ahead and bring in that towed array. It's going to retract it. And then we're going to kick the speed up. All right. Let's go here. Vulcan Rider says, respects one veteran to another on Memorial Day. Yes. Thank you, Vulcan. Much respect to you too, sir. We have a lot of vets, as Vulcan knows, in the Discord, a lot of our subscribers, a lot of the guys on the Patreon. A lot of you are there, just to help us out, which I do appreciate that. Because I look at the number of patrons we have and the number of people that have watched the video on Patreon, and it's not always the same number. And I'm like, I get some of you guys are just helping out financially. And I appreciate that a lot. It makes a huge difference. It's the reason why we have a thumbnail artist, our writer that does our weeks of research on these lectures that we write and publish over there. That's how he can afford to do it, so it makes a big difference. Have I played with active sonar yet? Not yet. We're going to get closer so we can. One of the things I want to determine, because it's not labeled in the game, is what is the range of that sonar display. And let me show it to you while we're waiting. Once we bring in the towed array, I'm going to speed up. I'm waiting on the towed array to come in. So this is the active sonar display. And it's clearly a sanitized, watered down version of the actual one, right? And I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. So this transmitter is in the sail, the one that I have now. There's one on the chin as well. You got two of them. And so you're kind of looking out in a cone, a V shape in front of the submarine, right? But there is a mechanical limit. There is a point at which, no matter how good your sonar is and how strong the target is, there is a deadline that says this far and no farther, and it should be labeled right here as to what that range is. And clearly the Navy said, thou shalt not put that range on the display. So one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to get a contact, and then we're going to drive him to the edge of this display. We're going to let him walk away from us, and we're going to mark that range. And then today we're going to know by the end of the stream what this fucking range is and why this isn't labeled. Now, I did see a question on someone else's stream, because other people are streaming the game too. I don't know about right now, but it's a YouTube video. They're asking, what is this gauge over here? 25, 50, 75. This is the intensity of return. This is the signal strength of your active return. So if it's 100, like you're transmitting way too much power. You could turn the volume down on your active ping a lot, right? You don't want it to be 100. Ideally, you want it to be just bright enough for you to see it. So 25 would be good. By the book, you want it to be 50. But if you're working with me, whenever we get to the where we can work together and we have different people on the stacks, if you're tracking a contact, it better be blue. Okay, I don't want to see no green. And if I see white, I might make you a fire controlman because you're not doing this anymore. But today we're going to figure out what the range scale is of this. I think I know. I know what the real one is, but it's not freaking labeled on the screen and it's not in the book. They're like, you figure it out. Oh, okay, I will. You know, I honestly don't know of anyone else who can do that because I don't know who else is an actual sonarman that plays this game. All right, we can get off this. All right, is the towed array in yet? Let's check. Let's check the towed array. Let's go to masted antennas. It is fully retracted. All right, cool. We're at 200 feet. I want to go to, say, 350 so we can go ahead full and not cavitate. So let's make sure we're still in deep water. We are. Very deep. Let's go to the, let's use my F keys. Yeah. Let's go make your depth 3, 5. Uh-oh. Check that. 350 feet. Make sure we have a down bubble. We do. Excellent. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead full. Now we might cavitate a little bit here. Uh-oh. Ooh, we had a bit of a chunky experience all of a sudden. What happened there? Okay, make sure everything's right. Oh, yeah. Something we should do is we should fix the lights. Let's rig it for underway. There we go. This is what underway looks like right here. Yeah. Nice and cozy. You can hear the hum of the 400 hertz. Yeah. Actually, the most thing that you hear now is this vent. Because we don't have 400 hertz fans anymore. I mean, not nearly as many anyway. They're probably somewhere. But most everything here is water cooled like your video card. And that's so much quieter, you know, IRL. Okay, let's keep going with the chat. LFG, I caught a stream. Yep, I'm not going to ask you what that is. Jive, did I ever go ISIS or SOSIS? No. I had a sonarman. It was a submarine sonarman. His shore duty was SOSIS. Yeah, he told me all about it, how boring it was. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a shore duty that I would not want. I was always an instructor. If I wasn't an actual student, like early in my career, when I was not on a submarine, I was an instructor my entire career. The Navy figured out I was good at something and they kept me in that job. They're like, he's good at sitting the sonar watch and he's good at teaching. He sucks at everything else. So let's keep putting him in those two positions. Sea duty, shore duty, sea duty, shore duty. Yeah. And then I was out. Yeah. SOSIS is boring until it's not. Yeah. War is boring. That's because you're winning it. If anything is not boring, you're probably not winning when it comes to like military stuff. I really hate these on-screen prompts. I really hope they add an option to disable those. I need to keep up with YouTube as well here. And I think I'm good. But now's the time if you're going to ask a question, because we're repositioning. I'm afraid to go into time compression because that's when the game begins to see errors. That's when I've seen them before, I should say. We might have to use time compression with this guy because he's so far away. And it really sucks that he's heading away from us. Because even after we catch up to him, we're going to have to keep up with him. Yeah. Volk says, same can be said with submarine combat, which is why in cold waters is one of my go-tos. Yeah. Cold waters is very cathartic in that it's fun. right? It's a video game. But we can talk about Navy stuff and throw some torpedoes around like we just don't care. Yeah, it's really fun. Whereas this is very much a simulation, like for real. Like this is what I imagine it would be like on an actual Virginia class. Yeah. So we're doing 25 knots. We're at 350 feet. Let's verify that we're not cavitating. I'll show you guys where to look for that. It's this indication. The top right-hand corner of every sonar display should have this. So let's verify that. Let's make sure I'm right. Yep. Okay, this is broadband, narrowband, demon, active intercept. So if they go active, it comes here. This is situational awareness. This is environment or tactical. This is the fathometer. And then finally, yeah. So since we're not transmitting yet and not using this display, I'm going to go back to broadband. Oh no. Okay, we brought it in. Woo-hoo. If you go too fast with the towed array out and break it, it will look like this. But it also looks like this if you have stowed the towed array, which is what we did. So here's what I do. If I don't have the towed arrays out, I have the top two displays be the sphere, one in real-time update, and then the second one, I use what's called medium integration, which is a slower update rate. And the good part about this is that you'll see contacts that are quieter here before you see them up here. Quieter contacts tend to get averaged out into background noise in real time, which is the whole purpose of the medium update. And you have three updates. You got long or slow, medium, and then real time. So it's always a good idea to check your long just once in a while, but I keep mine in medium. And then the wah, this is usually for high frequency, close contacts. So, I keep that one in real time. You'll see a torpedo on the wah. Yeah, so you want to keep that. Like a sailboat, all the stuff that's going to sneak up on you and surprise the hell out of you as a sonarman, you'll see on the wah. So you got to pay attention. Anytime you got to trace down here, make sure you know what the hell it is. Yep. If it's on the wah, it had better be on the sphere. And if it's not, it's probably a weapon. It's probably a torpedo. Or an airplane. Yeah, or an airplane. I can't wait to see flyovers on this, and I'll tell you if they're accurate or not. But I haven't seen one yet, so I don't know. I don't know. All right, so the big plan is we're running north to catch up with Sierra Hoozy Doozle here, Sierra 2. Will it ever release? Yes, Robert, this game will release. The devs, the publisher, I'm not sure what WaveOps is, if they're a dev or a publisher or somewhere in between. Everybody is working their butts off to get the game into early access right now. So as frustrating as that is for us, it's also for them. And they're going to get it figured out. Egg says, I had met an STS-1 on my boat who told me he had made a big mistake on a previous boat where they ended up super close to a Chinese sub. I think they got counter-detected. That's not good. Getting counter-detected is bad. How could something like that happen? I don't get Koner stuff. Okay, how could that happen? Well, there's a number of things. There's a lot of things. Submarines generally are very quiet. Okay, I like to think American submarines are among the quietest nuclear submarines in the world. From what I've seen, the closest to us in terms of our stealth and being absolutely quiet is the Astute class and the Trafalgar class. Trafalgars are all gone, so the Astute class. The Royal Navy, England's Navy, might be the best submarine service outside the United States. Like if I had to go serve on another country's submarine, I would have no problem serving in the Royal Navy. They may not want me, but if asked, I would say yes. That's one of the navies that if they said, get in the sub, we're going to war, I'm getting in the sub. U.S. first, Royal Navy second. I've tracked Chinese subs. They're not quiet at all. They're not even close. But that was also 30 fucking years ago. So it's not, I So how did he get counter-detected? This is your question. I don't know anything about this guy's circumstances. So one way of getting counter-detected by a Chinese submarine is simply not paying attention. That's always a thing. But you have a lot of people looking at these displays. It's not just the sonarmen. It's the officers. Anybody in control can see it. Fire control. Not everybody's going to recognize a submarine, though. So how can it happen? Well, clearly, let's assume the Chinese submarine was quiet because it's 2026 and they've gotten a hell of a lot better than they used to be. A lot better than whenever I was in, it was easy to track them. The Han, you could see the Han from Pearl Harbor when it went to sea. That thing was noisy. I assume it wasn't the Han that got him, though. Probably like a Type 93, the Shang. The Shang is probably what got him, and I'm making this up. I have no idea. But the Shang is the Chinese nuclear submarine. Not but one of these. So how could he, so environmental factors could play a huge role in that. So not only not paying attention, getting too close to a sub that they didn't see until the last second. If the Chinese submarine was on top of the layer or across the layer, let's say we're deep and he's shallow and it's a strong layer, you're not going to see him until you cross the layer. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, he's right there. He's right next to us. That is literally what happened to the Baton Rouge in 1992. Baton Rouge was at periscope depth off the coast of the Kola Peninsula. The Soviet Union had just collapsed. Everybody's like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? Keep an eye on radio communication. Just make sure we're not going to war. Nothing crazy's happening. We don't know. The Baton Rouge is out there. I'm not on the Baton Rouge, by the way. So Baton Rouge is at periscope depth. It's like, I want to say it's February 1992. So it's wintertime. It's cold. Strong layer. Usually no layer. Very rarely a layer in the Barents Sea. But for some reason, there's a layer today. And she's only like 13 miles off the coast. Like you can see land through the periscope. That's how close she is. And who comes up from beneath her and hits her is a Sierra, a Russian nuclear submarine that just knocked the bejesus out of her aft main ballast tanks, wrecked the shaft seals. It was a mess. The Sierra, pulls off after she hits him, surfaces. The Baton Rouge, who's at periscope depth, freaking the fuck out, but not panicking, not blowing main ballast tanks. Got to give her that credit. Sees the Sierra on the surface afterwards, confirms she's okay. Once the Sierra or whoever that was, they didn't even know what it was. Whatever just hit them is now on the surface. So we know they're not sunk. Baton Rouge puts off a quick report to the White House. We just got hit by a sub. Help, coming back in. The Baton Rouge was damaged so much because it had hit the shaft and everything back there that they ended up decommissioning her after trying to repair her. But it was just too expensive. So not only has the Soviet Union collapsed in absolute chaos as far as the military goes, they have nuclear warheads, nuclear codes, and no government, right? They have Boris Yeltsin, who drinks too much, who is trying to put together some kind of coalition, kind of keep things together, right? So it's a mess over there. And they just hit an American submarine, confirming that Americans are 13 to 14 miles off the coast, just outside into international waters, which, by the way, the Soviet Union, when it was Soviet Union, declared that to be their waters, because international waters is 12 miles, which is why we're 13. But the Soviet Union was like, if we can see it, comrade, it's ours. If you can see land, it's ours. So that could go out to 18, 20 miles, much more than 12. So they're mad as hell. They're like, America, what you doing? We got enough problems and you're just spying on us. And what could we say other than, yeah. Well, who did they send to relieve the Baton Rouge? Who was the very next sonarman on the very next submarine on his first fucking underway, who the mission was so sensitive, we had an admiral on board with us. So we still had the captain in charge and responsible for the ship. We had an admiral with us. We had a whole team of spooks, and we spent a lot of time making sure Russia didn't do something really fucking dumb after that collision. That was me. That was this guy. That was my first underway too. Like, not only was I not qualified submarines, I wasn't qualified to wash the damn dishes. But I qualified on the way up there, basic sonar operator, just so I could wear headphones and stand watch, help the watch bill out. And then when we went to battle stations and fire control trekking party, all the senior guys were doing that job, of course. I was in the back. I was taking the logs. And one of the cool things about being junior, this worked out to my benefit. I was writing down in the sonar log everything that every contact was doing every minute. Every 60 seconds, I had to update it by hand with a pencil. We didn't have the digital logs back then. So even though I was the most junior guy on board, not just the most junior sonarman, I was the most junior crew member. I had just checked on board like that week that we got underway. They had no business putting me on that submarine, like from a manning point of view, but I guess they needed somebody, and that's my orders, and that's what I had. So, well, we also didn't know the Baton Rouge was going to get hit. So I'm up there, but I'm in the best position. I feel like the captain of the submarine as a E4 petty officer, like a third class petty officer, one of the most junior people in submarines. But I have the logs and I'm responsible to know what every contact is doing. So every 60 seconds, not only am I writing it down, I know in my head the big picture of what's going on because I'm constructing it on the log sheet. It was the best position to be in. I felt like I was the decision maker, only nobody asked me what the fuck to do, right? But I had the same picture on my log that the captain had. And I don't know if any other person had that because fire control probably did. But sonar, the broadband operator's only worried about the sphere and the towed array. The narrowband operator's tracking all the damn torpedoes and shit that we're watching because there's a war game going on and the flybys are going over. So everybody has their piece of the puzzle and it only comes together as a cohesive picture in fire control so that the captain and the approach officer know what's going on. And then there's the sonar log operator, the log keeper. The most junior man on board doesn't know a damn thing other than what they taught me in school. And I know what's going on. And I'm scared to fucking death because I know the Baton Rouge got hit. They didn't tell us that. We found out about that on our own. Oh man, scary, scary, scary times. But that was my introduction to the Navy, and I got addicted to that adrenaline, man. That is something that I don't think there's a drug in the world, and I haven't tried them all, but I've tried a couple, that does that, right? That if they could bottle that shit, oh my God, I'd be broke. I'd be a dealer. Yeah. It's good stuff. Okay. Wow. You asked me a question. I went on a rant. The Chinese, so environmental factors, not paying attention. Sometimes you just have to take a chance and cross that layer and to see if anybody's up there. And sure enough, just bad luck. He's right there. He's 2,000 yards away. What are you going to do then? You're going to go back down below the layers, what you're going to do, but you're also going to open up range and go back up and track that guy. So I hope the guy that you're talking about that got detected, I hope it was a situation like that. And there's sometimes, no matter even if you are paying attention, if it's environmental, you just have to be aware of the risk because if there's somebody above you, you're not going to hear them until you're there. That is very much the environment we see here in this example. You saw how the contacts we had, if we go back in time, how they just kind of shut off. This is similar to what you're describing to me with the guy being counter detected. If he came above the layer and suddenly had a guy right there in front of him, what can you do about it other than put it in the logs and at your next opportunity, fire off a message to the admiral that, hey, we might have got snapped up. We're not sure. Who knows? Great question. And I feel bad for that sonarman because that's not good. Which drugs have I tried? Oh, shut up. Caffeine. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Caffeine. Yeah. I'm not into drugs at all. That was a joke. Relax. Yeah. Let's see. You could get counter-detected by crashing into an underwater mountain. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. You could always hit the bottom. I'm sure that would make a lot of noise. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Thanks for following there, Kailania. Yeah, Kailania. Okay. I think we're probably pretty close to where we think this guy's going to be, right? Yeah, look at him. Let's reset the scale here. Now, this is assuming he didn't turn. He is 4 nautical miles away. He should be loud and proud on the Paravis, on the photonics mast. Let's go see if this is even close. Fire control has them 8,000 yards away, 4 nautical miles. We are going to slow down and come to periscope depth. What's our depth? Okay, let's come to a head 2/3. Let's make our depth 150 feet. We're going to come to 150 feet first. Yeah. We'll watch that come up. Yeah, that was a heck of an introduction to the Navy, and that's whenever I knew Hollywood movies had nothing on what real submarining was like. Because I was like, this is crazy. I was like, we get to do this, and we're getting paid? Oh my God. Don is here. He says, hey man, could you demonstrate the 4-bearing method trying to make it work in U-boat? And it doesn't click for me. I'm not sure what the 4-bearing method is, sir. I've not heard it called that. Maybe if you could describe it, maybe I know it by a different name. But I don't know the 4-bearing method. No. 4 bearings. I assume it's a fire control thing, but I'm not a fire controlman. Santos says, cold waters, I used to use the external view exclusively to escape torpedoes. I wonder how it's going to work in this game. I would love to show you again how to escape a torpedo. We've already done it twice. We've shot ourselves twice on 2 different streams. And it's fun. Also dumb because I didn't mean to do it, but it happened anyway. But here's how you're going to do it. I'll do a practice torpedo evasion today. That's on the checklist of things to get done. But what you're going to do is you get a torpedo in the water. The first thing you do is from the helm, go to a head flank. I don't care if you're at periscope depth. Speed the fuck up. Then you're going to come over here. If you're at periscope depth, you better lower all mast and antennas if you're going to be going flank, by the way. And you're going to hit this Mark 3 launcher. ADC Mark 3. Pop that motherfucker. And then you're going to go over here. You're going to change depth and course to the best evasion depth, best evasion course for your scenario. You should always know what that is, by the way. Right now, I know where I'm going to go and how deep I'm going to go to evade a weapon right now. I've already determined that. So no matter when it happens, I know what depth and course to come to. After you go to depth and course, you come back to here and you launch the ADC Mark 4. So Mark 3, update your course and depth, Mark 4. That's how you evade a torpedo in real life. Assuming you came to the right depth and course too. You better do that. You might have to repeat that. The first time you launch those countermeasures doesn't mean you're done, and there might be more than one weapon out there. So your mileage may vary, but that's how you do it. We are going to practice that today, by the way. That is on the to-do list. All right, we are here. Let's go to 5 feet, periscope depth. Let's get on up there. And we're going to take a little look-see-poo at this guy. I don't like the aspect. I hope he's not going north. But fire control says he's going north, north-ish. We will find out together if that's true. Let's check our speed before we raise this. 5 knots is fine. Let's fully raise the mast. And let's come out of zoomed in view. We don't want that. Okay. You missed the part on staying still. Oh, well, we'll see if that works. They have to get the torpedoes in the game first. The enemy torpedoes. Like, we could shoot ourselves, and that's no fun. I want to see if I could dodge a Y6 or a Y8. One of the new Chinese submarines, or torpedoes rather. Torpedoes. 124. Okay, well, yeah, we're coming up. Hey, it's still daytime. Thank goodness. Okay. Mark 4. Yeah. Yeah, I said Mark 3 and then Mark 4. You do both. I can't think of a time off the top of my head where you would launch one and not the other because they work together. Yeah. Is it confirmed the enemies don't fire at the moment? It was confirmed last week. This is the first time I've played the game in a week, but I don't see a new game version update on my build here. So we haven't been shot at yet, but we also haven't been detected yet. So We'll know by the end of the stream if we get shot at. I don't expect we're going to get shot at because I haven't seen an update. They haven't changed anything. So we will find out together. The stop and drop method. Yeah, that is a method. I don't know if it works in this game. I certainly wouldn't want to do it. Like in real life, like you only do that if you have to. Like if I was doing that, I would just be hammering the Mark III button over and over again. Yeah. I did shoot at myself. Yeah, that was my own weapon that came back at us. Yeah, the weapon, well, I'm not sure what happened, but I went back and looked at it, and it looked like the weapon went past the target and then came back towards the target, and we were hearing the active. This is on the first time it happened to us, so that was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, whenever the game first came out for some of us. And so it was that version of the game, which is not this version. This version's been updated since then. So we were getting the active alarm, but the torpedo wasn't really looking at us. It was just looking in our direction. All right. For some reason, I can't control the periscope again. I'm having some troubles with it. Oh, my Lord. Where is this ship at? Oh my God, why is my frame rate so bad? Holy smokes, my frame rate is just terrible. Yeah, it's pausing. That's not good. That's not a good sign at all. I also don't see a ship. What the hell? All right, so CR10, that looks a hell of a lot like the one I was originally tracking. Yeah, that's definitely him, and he is going away from us. And it looks like a merchant. Like, I'm not sure if I want to be chasing that guy, because we're supposed to find a cruise ship is what we're looking for. Oh, who's that? Okay, that's a shadow in the fog right there. Who's this? Who do we have here? Okay. So if we were to look at the big picture over here at the chart, it's possible that the contact we want to look at is CR3. So I want to start going this way, I think. How many miles is that? Is that 6 nautical miles? Yeah, it's 6 miles. All right, so we're going to go 030. We're going to close on that. Let me go verify his bearing one more time. It's this one right here, CR3. Oh, up she goes. We're going to have to run that direction. That's towards land and towards shallow water, so we're going to have to keep an eye on the bottom so we don't lawn dart this thing like the Connecticut. Yeah, he's far away. Well, what was the one? Oh, CR10 was the one that I saw. Yeah, there he is. I'm not interested in him. That does not look like a cruise ship. It's really hard to tell. But I'm not hanging my hat on that being the cruise ship. All right, let's go and lower all mast and antennas. Let's get out of here. So remember, you go here first, hit that button, retract all mast and antennas, and then we're going to make our depth 250 feet. Hit the button. There we go. And I don't want to cavitate just yet, so let's put this back on the chart right there. And we're going to change our course. Let's go to 030. Our depth is 5-6 feet coming down. We'll give him a little bit of help. Give him a little 2/3 bell here. That'll definitely cavitate us for a little bit. Hey Hunter, how you doing? Yep, we're live today. I figured people have, a lot of people have today off, so I thought you guys might enjoy a little modern naval warfare. This scenario is to close to within weapons range of a cruise ship and sink it, which is ridiculous. But so what we're going to do is we're going to close to within visual range of the cruise ship, and we're going to practice our high frequency sonar on it. Today we're learning the range of the high frequency sonar, which is not documented in any of the documentation I have. So we're going to figure that out today. We're also learning the demon. I'll know the demon once I know the classification of the ship. Also, we can bring that up. Let me show you guys how to do that. 250 feet, let's go ahead standard. Yeah. We might cavitate at that. Let's go to 333 feet. Boom, boom. That way I know we're not going to cavitate while we're reading books. Let's read some books. My frame rate's gone to hell. Oh, who's that? Okay, that's the guy we couldn't see. So anytime you see a ship that's really faint like that, obviously it could mean he's far away. That's possible. But also warships tend to be really, really quiet compared to merchant ships. So this is probably merchant, maybe a warship. Or it could be a merchant that's really far away. Don't ever hang your hat by looking at a trace. Actually, don't even hang your hat on range. But we've seen these guys. So we can actually drop Sierra 6 and Sierra 1. So we can get rid of that one. And where's Sierra 6 at? Let's get rid of him. Yeah. That was Sierra 2. Yeah, let's go and get rid of him. Kind of clean up our displays. But so we got Sierra 10. We saw him. We have Sierra 11. Let's get rid of Sierra 3. Sierra 7. Get rid of him. Any of our old Total contacts we're going to get rid of. All right. Sierra 5. Where's he at? Sierra 5 is toast. And then Sierra 4 was a Total contact. We haven't had Total deployed in a long time. So I'm just going to clean out the system. So we have 3 contacts that we know about, 9, 10, and 11. Easy day. Super duper easy. Oh, wow. Where'd he go? All right. So we have to get fire control solutions on 9, 10, and 11. That's what these chuckleheads over here should be doing. We'll give them a few minutes. Oh, we don't have data, though. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Am I sinking the cruise ship that had the Hata virus? Yeah, that's what it's. That's the scenario. It's a little funny or ridiculous, I should say. It's not funny. Nobody's going to sink a flipping cruise ship. You just let the cruise ship alone, and the virus will burn itself out. Viruses don't live forever. They try to, but that's what kills them. Ironically. Let's see. Stuart. Is that Stuart? No, it's Slauret. Sorry. He says, I could send you a pic of the Astute. Yeah, send it to Aaron at subbrief.com. That's my email address. I wouldn't mind. Don't send me anything classified, please. All it's going to do is make my life complicated. Just if you have any public access photos, I'd love to have them. Yeah. That's all I need right now is someone to send me some bullshit. I only bring that up because that shit's happened before. Yeah, people are dumb. Not you, sir. Other people. Other people. Quite silly. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Shit. That's an actual reenactment of my reaction to seeing that photo. Yeah. Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, we're going to run this way for a little bit and try this again. I'm really hesitant to go into time compression, but we might do it because let's try going ahead full. Okay, if you're going to go ahead full, go ahead and lock the bow planes and then retract them. And the ship will stay a little more steady doing that. I keep the stern planes unlocked. I don't know. Honestly, you would think you would want to do that the other way around. You'd probably want to lock the stern planes because those are bigger. But the guy that, I don't know his name, but there was a guy that helped develop the game, and he is a naval consultant, a naval expert. And I got to figure out his name just so I can reference him. And he was telling one of the other streamers, one of the early access guys, that he recommends locking this first and then locking that. So since he helped make the game, that's how I do it. But like the stern planes, I would expect to be locked because this is the way that it used to work. like in reality. If you want to make angles on the ship, go up, go down, down angle, right? Well, you do that with the stern plane. That's all it's there for. That's all it does. Now, when it does that, you change depth. So the consequence of this working is changing depth. But if you want to fine tune your depth, if you want to go from 5 feet to 6 feet and stay there and not go back to 5 feet, you're not doing that with the stern plane. You're doing that with the little itty bitty planes on the front, making little adjustments. However, the naval consultant that helped make the game actually did it the other way. So I'm doing it the way I saw him do it. I will find out the guy's name. I'm not trying to, whenever I reference him, I want to say who he is, but I don't know. I got to go back. It's on Subsim. Subsim is not the guy, but the Subsim YouTube channel had a live stream with one of the Navy experts. I think that's what he's referred to as on. And it was one of the first videos that the Subsim YouTube channel did on this game. That should make it real easy to find. There shouldn't be that many. And it's like 2 hours long, hour and a half, 2 hours long. And they talk about a lot of things. And it's really eye-opening to get the ear, of someone who actually made the game to help you understand how to play it. Because if they built it a certain way, like do that versus how it really works, well, you want to do it the way he made the game. All right. Yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to read some chat while we reposition here. We got a chat from Preston says, will give us a sonar triangulation button. There's not one yet. I don't see any ranging tools other than WA. See this range right here? 20,000 yards. That's a WA range. If we go, well, towed array is right here. We don't have towed array deployed, but we don't have any tools for it. Like even though towed array is not deployed, I can bring it up, right? And all we can do is start and stop, speed up and slow down the update rate. That's our only towed array tool that I see on this display. So I don't know what other tools are going to add to the game. I have no idea. All right, let's do it. Let's go to ×2, baby. Let's see what happens. We're repositioning to the north. Did we actually change course? I meant to. Yes. Well, I'm going to verify that. You can always do that by glancing over here. Yeah, we're course 030, 25 knots, 330 feet. And the fathometer says green. I'm looking at the top center of the fathometer display, and all I care about is the color. I don't care what it says. I know what it says. It says secure deep, but it says secure deep in a green mode, which means we're not about to hit the bottom. If that goes to yellow, we got to slow the hell down. Maybe even go shallow. All right. Can the other side shoot back yet? We don't know yet, Vulcan. That's what we're trying to figure out. I don't think so. I don't expect it does. Are you worried about how close the actual game could end up being? No. I was until I learned that the U.S. Navy is involved. This is the U.S. Navy's blessed commercial version of the software. So as long as U.S. Navy's happy with it, I no longer concern myself with that. I just need to make sure that I talk about things that are in the game and not IRL when it comes to the tools and the technical side. Like the gentleman was talking about with the triangulation button. We have that. I'm not going to talk about how it works, but if it's in the game, I'll be glad to happily talk about how it works. But until it's in the game, I'm not doing it. So to answer your question, no, I'm not worried about it anymore at all. I was for a while, to be honest with you, because this game is very realistic as far as I can tell. It's very early access, though. I know a lot of you guys are waiting on the early access to come out and be released and published, and you're going to snap it up right away. Just be aware that, man, it runs. It doesn't crash. That's about it. It doesn't have a lot of things yet. Oh, I did make it crash once. I tried to save a game without giving it a file name. Don't do that, because it will try to save to 0. And if you save to null, it won't respond again. You'll have to Alt F4 it. Yeah. So that's some feedback for the devs. Don't let it actually try to save if the idiot, me, doesn't give it a name, a file name. That's an old school Windows 3.1 problem, you know. If you tried to save files back then, it would crash. But of course, Windows was like, well, patch that. You know, you got to make Windows idiot proof. You know, which is why we have a lot of the problems we have with Windows, is they keep putting all these damn safety rails up so people can't be dumb. You know, people will find a way. They will. All right. Oh, AT2 says, I'm a former naval aviation. Yep, that's what the AT2 means. He says, I know about many systems that aren't in DCS, and it should stay that way. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. Yes. We have an advantage in real life, and we want to keep that advantage by not talking about it on live streams or YouTube videos or War Thunder forums. And I'm not yelling at you, but I'm yelling at everybody else on the War Thunder forums, who certainly is not my community, but those knuckleheads need to shut the hell up. They will disclose things just to be right in an argument, which is the whole point of why people get you into those arguments. Not you, sir, but the people. They're getting information that they can't get otherwise. And those morons are giving it to them for free. At least make a buck before you get in trouble, you know. So was going to make a Windows comment, but I shall refrain. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys are Linux guys. I've installed Linux on a PC before and used it. I had to for a job. My first job out of the Navy. This is one I don't talk about much because I wasn't there very long. I wasn't fired, but anyway. So I went on terminal leave for 2 months. The Navy will let you have up to 60 days of vacation time, essentially, if you don't use it. And I had banked up by the end of my career 60 days. It was actually like 63 days, but I couldn't go over 60. So every day over 60 was just lost, right? So I retired with 60 days, 2 months of vacation. So the last 2 months of my 20-year career, I didn't go to work. Well, I got really bored and I realized, wow, retirement isn't all that it's cracked up to be. So I got a job. And the funny thing about this job is I worked at the base in the schoolhouse on the same floor, literally on the same wing, down the hall from my old desk. So my old desk was up there about 50 feet. My new desk was in this different office down the hall 50 feet. And in the new office, we used Linux. So, and I knew a little bit about Linux. I didn't know how to use it. I certainly didn't know how to use it professionally. You know, I was like Security Plus and A+ certified, like the bare bones IT guy. And I'm like, oh, shoot, we're using Ubuntu and Linux. Come on, man. And they're like, it's the only way to be sure, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, calm down. I get it. So it's also free and you're not supposed to be using it for commercial purposes, but I didn't bring that up. Anyway, unless you paid the licensing fee, which I'm sure they didn't. And I stayed at that. It was funny. I had to bring my uniform into work on my last day in the Navy. And I'd been at the job like 2 months or a month and a half at that point, because it took me a week to get the job. Right. And then, so I, you know, and everyone kind of thought it was funny that I was working down the hall, but I wasn't in uniform. I was coming into the office every day in civilian clothes. And they were like, well, who's Mr. So-and-so? You know, they didn't know that I'd had a job as a civilian in the same building. So I played that up a little bit. People thought, like, when you put your uniform on, I'm like, I'm not going to, you know. But my last day in the Navy, which was like week 6 of my new job, I had to get in my uniform and go to my own retirement ceremony down the hall. We never left this floor. It was a 3-story building. Well, I had a basement, but I was on the top floor. And I walked down the hall. Ironically, near my old desk, it was a little conference room, tiny. I didn't want a retirement ceremony. I told him that. I was like, I just want to go. You know, I was done with the Navy. And they're like, no, you got to have retirement ceremony. Captain says you got to have retirement ceremony. I'm like, fine. The captain didn't even come to my retirement ceremony, probably because he heard that I didn't want to have it, and he made me have it anyway. But the XO did, which was really nice. Thank you, XO. And so it was just me, my old Navy buddies, a couple fire controlmen, because we got along with each other. I mean, me and the FTs always clicked. We were always good. That's professionally, that's important, but also personally, it's also nice. And then, so the XO was there, the WEPS was there, everybody from my department was there. Some of them probably had to be there, you know. I didn't get along with everybody, but at that command, I got along with pretty much everybody. But and it took like 10 minutes. Like they piped me in, marched up there. A couple guys said a few nice things about me, which I thought was nice. And they were like, well, you know, you get the chance to speak right before you leave, or you get brung off into retirement, right? And I was like, thanks for coming out. I started out, barely graduated high school, and now I got college degree and job, and Navy did good. Thank you. Great. Very, very exciting. Thank you very much. And 15 minutes later, they piped me off. They rang the bell, and I left. And I realized after I left, all the other side boys were supposed to like leave and line up first, and I didn't even give them time. I stopped speaking. They rang the bell. Ding, 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 ding. Leaving. And I was like, bye. And I remember, and I missed it at the moment, but thinking back on it, the guy next to me, my old senior chief, he grabbed me by the arm or grabbed my elbow. And I was like, what was that about? And I kept on walking. He was trying to stop me so I didn't walk out of the retirement ceremony without the rest of the side boys, saluting me or whatever they're going to do. Because that's how much I did not give a shit about leaving the Navy at that point. I was gone. I was already on my civilian career, Anyway, that was back then. It was kind of funny. And so I went back later on and was like, I had to like apologize. I was like, oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize I was messing up the ceremony. I kind of entered the Navy the way that I left it, or I kind of left the Navy the way that I entered it. Kind of half-assed. Because you guys know my boot camp story. I spent the majority of my boot camp answering a telephone. So I didn't go to all that other crap that boot camp people get to do. The only thing I had to do to graduate was learn. I had to fire the gun. You have to get qualified. Back then it was 45. It was a pistol. It was the 911 pistol, like from 1911. It was that thing. That was the model number anyway. And then they went to the Beretta after that, but whatever. So, but the funny thing is I went to boot camp for, back then it was only 8 weeks. It was a little short. And I answered the phone for all 8 weeks. And I went to maybe 2 or 3 classes. I never learned how to tie a knot, but I was a Boy Scout, so I kind of knew that already. I never learned the X, Y, and Z shut the door, open the door thing. I have no idea about that. I kind of dismissed that class because I was like, I'm on a submarine. We're going to shut the fucking doors or else the water is going to come in. That's all I need to know. I'm good to go. So I went down and I answered the phone. I answered that phone for 8 weeks just so I didn't have to do push-ups. And then, so that's how I started the career, very half-assed. And then I ended my career by not even wanting the ceremony and then screwing that up by leaving early. I left my own retirements early. Oh, geez. Yeah. It was great. I'm a professional sailor. Yeah. I'll tell you what I was good at sonar. Yeah, that's why they kept me around. That's why they didn't kick me out. Yeah. I was good at one thing. That was my job. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Oh, you guys are talking about operating systems. Well, look at you, bunch of nerds. I'm telling my Navy stories. You guys talk about Linux. Oh, God love you. You guys are the best. All right, let's slow this puppy down and see where we are. We've been going at 2 times speed for a while. We haven't run aground yet. That's good. All right, let's go 5 feet. So see what's going on up there. It is kind of funny how I bookend my career with 2 just half-ass attempts at being a sailor. Yeah. They kept me around as comic relief. Yeah, I was definitely a clown, for sure. A lot of times I didn't know I was the clown, especially early in my career. I was definitely the clown. Yeah. That's what I learned. If you're not the smartest man in the room, you're the dumbest, Good times. All right. We don't have any contacts, so we're not going to have any data. I'm not going to clear out the old data. I want to keep CR 9, 10, and 11. Right. At least keep their bearings up here, so I know which one's on the left, which one's in the middle, which one's on the right. You know, right up here at the top. This is good orientation for you. All right, we're coming up. We're going to start cavitating if we don't slow down, so let's do that. Let's slow down to ahead 1/3. 5 feet ahead 1/3. We're at 168 feet coming up. Speed's coming down. That's good. Yeah, I did get a medal at my ceremony. That was the it was the green one. I got the green one. It wasn't the NAM. I already had NAMs. The commendation medal. Yeah, it wasn't high. It's not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of medals. I wasn't a big medal guy. I got NAMs just because they gave Naval Achievement medals to everybody. I got that. A couple of those actually. It's funny. The Navy Achievement Medal is if you just show up to work and you like do your job, you get a NAM eventually. It just happens. It's like, it's weird. Yeah. And then I got the commendation medal was my highest medal. And I got that at my retirement ceremony, which was nice of them to give me that. Or else I would have retired with a NAM. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's not good. Good conduct is like that for the Army. Yeah, good conduct for the Navy is, as long as you go to captain's mast, you're fine. And I probably should have gone to captain's mast at least 1 in 20 years, but I never did. So I got lucky. I had people that didn't like me and people that did like me at every command. And those two groups of people were always fighting whether or not how much trouble I was going to get in for whatever stupid thing I had done. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I was not a model sailor, no. Like, if they wanted somebody to learn sonar, they always sent them to me when I was on watch. And I would explain it to all the new guys. Because to qualify in submarines, you have to understand how sonar works at a very basic level, very similar to what I'm showing you guys. That's what every submariner that gets his dolphins sits down, puts the headphones on, and at least knows what a towed array is. Like, that's bare minimum. And then some of them, if they're genuinely interested, you know, I'll spend as much time as they have to teach them more, but that's the bare minimum. All right, looks like we already got some contacts. Let's go ahead and raise that mast if we're slow enough. I was waiting on speed to come down. Speed is down. Let's raise the mast. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and unzoom. Yeah, as long as you don't get fired out of the torpedo tube, you're good. Yeah. I mean, I didn't do anything egregious, but, you know, I also wasn't the shining example. There was always somebody else that was the more shining example than I was. And I was okay with that. You know, I wasn't trying to impress too many people. I really love being at sea. Whenever I was in port is when I was always in trouble. I was that sailor. You know him. If you're in the Navy, you know who that is. I was that guy. At sea, he's great. Does a great job. As soon as we pull in, he's off the chain. I didn't like being that guy. I didn't mean to be that guy, but that's who I was. That was just my personality. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't a kiss butt. No, I definitely wasn't. I was told that I need to be more kiss butt. What did they use the word? There's a word for it. Bless. Why am I drawing a blank? You know, where you show a little bit of respect to people who don't know anything, called officers. Deference. This was actually in one of my annual evals. That's where you get evaluated in the junior years every 6 months, and then later on you get once a year. It says, Jive Turkey should show more deference to fellow sailors, especially the chain of command. So apparently I wasn't showing enough deference. which is probably true. I did have a bit of an ego because I was really good at sonar. And they did not want that to go to my head because it probably did. I'm not justifying it. I'm just telling you about what happened. Deference, yeah. I probably didn't get a promotion one year because of that. They're like, oh, he doesn't know what deference is. He can't promote that guy. Yeah. I did play the game in terms of I didn't want to get in trouble, and I didn't want to be on the bad list where the first time I messed up, I was going to go to captain's mast and be in trouble. I didn't want that to happen. So I also showed up on time and did my job. You know, like I said in the last stream, you'd be surprised how far in life that gets you. You just do those two things, you'll be all right. Are we coming up or what? Oh, we are. Dive is taking his time, but it's also like Sea State 11 out there. It's like a freaking hurricane. So we're coming up really slow. I don't know why Sea State's so bad. I do have the game audio up, but there's just nothing to listen to right now. Oh, there's a little bit of music. Ah, how about that? A little bit of music there. Come on, Dive, get us up. Do I need to go to 2/3? You can often help the dive out a little bit by speeding up just a little bit. And I should show you how to do that. So if you don't want to cavitate, like if you go to 2/3, you're going to cavitate at periscope depth. So hit the knots button, which is right behind oh no, it's right there. You can see it. And just type in 7 knots. You can type in any speed you want, but type in 7. A little more speed gives the pilot, co-pilot a little more control. Let's go back to the scope here. Now this is a different scope. I mean, it's the same. So one thing I found with the build that I have is even though I have the same paravis or photonics mast on this station and on that station, you want to remember what station you're actually using, because if you buzz bearings to fire control, it only comes from this one and not that one. I don't know if that's a bug. I'm not sure what's going on there. Like if you want to delete the contact, you have to go back to the station you sent the contact to fire control from to delete it. Yeah, kind of weird. Probably going to get worked out in later fixes or later versions. That's the least of my problems with this game, right? God, look at these waves. Oh my word. All right, let's make sure we're not going to get run over here. Hold on. Looking around, taking a little look at the ocean. Hi, Mr. Wave. Okay. Oh my God, there he is. No close contacts, visual contact on this bearing 073. Let's zoom in on him. Who's you? Ooh, I believe he's coming at us. He's coming right for us. I think we found our target, boys, where we can verify ranges using the high frequency sonar. Yay. Bearing 073. Let's do that right now. Right after do a quick look. I am surprised that he's my closest contact. I thought this guy was closer. This might be the cruise ship. That looks boxy enough to be a cruise ship. I can't get on him. Okay, cruise ship potentially bears 052. 052, okay. All right. The rest of these are... So we can clear out 10. Oh my God. How did I not see this guy when on my safety sweep? This is a good example of how contact can be masked by sea state. When I did my initial sweep, this guy clearly was behind a wave. So that's on me for not being slower and doing a more thorough search. Because if I saw this guy, I wouldn't have called emergency deep because of he's broadside, but he's much closer than I would feel comfortable with. He's 7,000 yards away. Okay. Now, because we're not trying to be sneaky, I'm going to leave the mast up, okay? Just know that you don't normally do this. You would never normally leave this mast up. These two guys are coming in on us like this. That's not good. Oh, and this is a good way to see it in sonar. So here we have own ship's bow, right where my cursor's at. And we have a contact to the right, that really bright one, and the one to the left. And they're both coming towards the bow. All that means is that they're going to pass in front of the bow, if nothing else changes, or they're going to hit us. So we got to be careful of that. Either way, they're going to be close. Underway, you don't want to see this. You don't want to maintain this. Like I would definitely, ironically, this guy's closer, but this guy's coming at us faster. So I would definitely come to the right of this guy, like 075. I wouldn't want to point him, but maybe 090. Let him go by and then deal with Sierra 12. Sierra 12. But let's get on high frequency sonar and take a look at this contact bearing 052. Where's my cursor at? 047. High frequency sonar. Let's turn this bad boy on. Operating from periscope depth. 1 decibel. Because of the sea state, we may have to put that up. Range is full. See, it says full and half. It never gives us a number, which is what we're going to figure out today. We know the range of that contact is 8,500 yards away, roughly. The one bearing 047, which will be right about here. All right, let's go ahead and let's crank up the power. 8 decibels. That's very loud. And now we're in continuous. All right, so we should be getting a return from him at this range, and we're not. So we know that this range, this top line, which is the farthest away this system's going to look, is inside 8,000 yards. Inside 8. And we're going to let that contact come in until we see him. And then we'll know what this range is. And then we'll write it down. Maybe we'll tell Wave Ops, you know, what their range is, because they certainly don't tell us. Okay, let's try this one. This is the chin sonar. This is the one you'd want to look for mines with. You could use both for mines, by the way, but bottom moored mines and bottom mapping, you're going to use the chin. This is beneath the sphere on the bow, and then the sail is the sticky uppy part, you know, technically speaking, sticky uppy part. So let's go back to the sail. This is the one we're going to see most likely the contact with. I'm surprised we don't just have noise. Like from this sea state, we should be seeing sea state. I don't know why we don't see that. Okay. That's still transmitting, by the way. We're going to leave it like that. And we're going to watch this guy come in. Oh, you know what? I wonder if he's just outside the cone. He could be just outside the cone because I didn't realize how far to the right he was. Look at where we're looking. Yeah. Oh, it's possible that he's just outside the cone. All right. I'll do a little maneuver towards him because I want to use him as range reference. What about this guy here? Yeah. Okay. Actually, this guy might be closer. Oh, he is closer. Okay. I'm not sure why I thought the other one was closer. All right. Let's come to course just so we don't get hit by this guy. He bears 075. Let's come to, say, 060, and we'll let him cross in front of us. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. He's just outside the cone. So let's go to heading 060. Depth 55 feet. 7 knots. We're helping the dive maintain depth with that 7 knots. I'm going to leave that just like that. And we'll go back to answering y'all's questions. Jive, why we don't hear a loud ping when we use active sonar? Well, we don't have the headphones on, sir. That would be the reason. Now, that system that we're looking at there, that's high frequency. That's above human hearing. But the sonar system can translate it down. That's what it's called, translating. Basically reducing, dividing by the frequency so that it goes into human hearing so you can hear it. But I wonder, is there a headphone? I don't see a headphone icon on this one. It is definitely on, though. It's in continuous right now. 8 decibels. Pretty loud. We're lighting up the water in front of us with high-frequency sonar. And we have nothing. This is nothing. What's our layer depth? 72 feet. Yeah. Like, if I go below the layer, we probably won't even have sonar contact. So we got to be up here at 55 feet. Yeah. I talked about the environment at the beginning of the stream. I don't want to rehash it. I just think their modeling is very simple to give you like the Reader's Digest version of what I'm thinking about it. And I would like them to add, if the Navy allows them, a little more nuance into the environmental modeling to see a little more realistic gain and fade. Just a little more. But, you know, I'm sure the Navy's got their thumb on this software. Yeah, he's only 4,000 yards away. We should be definitely seeing him. What the hell? How are we not seeing this guy? Huh. Holy smokes. Yeah, something's not right. Something's not right. Mm-hmm. We're in the sail. Let's click standby. Stop. Let's go to full range. Let's just change it to 2 decibels. The sail is selected. Go to standby. That locks all these settings. Click continuous. Even at 2 decibels, we should be seeing out 4,000 yards. And I've got nothing. Oh, boy. So I think right now maybe this isn't working right. We've seen this work before. We've seen detections before on this. Let me get a little crazy here and just go full power. 16 decibels. I mean, damn. Nothing, no context. Yeah, it's almost like it's not updating. I do have it on. It's definitely on. And we're aimed at a contact 4,000 yards away, and we do not see him. Let me just check the chin. See if the chin has an update. This update, the screen update's fast too. Like it's like real time looking out a window. Like it's as fast as the waterfall display is over there. So it's not like you should have to wait for anything. Huh. All right. Well, that's sucks. If we can't, okay, here we go. We probably can do our demon test. Clearly I can't do the active test today because it's simply not working. We get another range. 3,300 yards. This guy is super duper close. This course is going to bring us inside 1,000 yards. I am not comfortable with that. I mean, we're doing this intentionally, but whew, let's make sure we're not getting crept up on here. This guy's close. That guy's 1.5 miles away, which in nautical terms is too close. All right, this is no magnification. If you're standing on the water, that's what he looks like. Yeah. And he's coming right at us. Like, we're still closing like this. What's his speed? They should have a really good solution on Sierra 1.4. I'm just curious as to what Fire Control has for him. Yeah, our Fire Control operators don't appear to be very good. Because we know that he's something like that. That might be a little too narrow, but his speed is only like 8 knots. It's not very fast. That stack's okay. That's not great. It's got a little bow in it. That bow means something's wrong, and it's probably speed. Let's make it 10 knots. Well, it did straighten it out, but it didn't. The course. Now, if this part appears wrong, change the course. Oh, the range is way wrong. Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah. How about that? Yeah. There we go. Oh, my God. Please. There we go. Look how close this is. This is terrible. If I wasn't doing this intentionally, I'd be freaking out. All right. Okay. Let's just double check that we don't have any kind of return. Let's go back to standby. Let's go back to 1 decibel. This is the default settings. Full range. This guy's right in front of us. The sonar's looking right at him in his direction. And we'll let it update. Eventually, we should see something. This is a good point. Whenever you look at the situational awareness display, you see this kind of curve right here? I mean, that just means bearing rate is increasing. That's because we made a turn, I bet, right there. But he's about to pass in front of us. Who is to our left? Oh, okay. No, it's fine. Is there a second contact? Hold on a second. Let me just check something. Oh, there! Hey, we finally got him. Oh my God, full range is 3,000 yards. Okay, now we know. This is not realistic at all, but that's probably what the Navy said. Make it. Oh my God, 1,500 yards. Are you kidding me? Now we know. This top line is 1,500 yards away in full range mode. Let's go to half range and just see if it's literally half. Oh, now we got numbers. Holy smokes. Well, if they would put the numbers on the full range, I wouldn't have had to do this little experiment. All right. Now, you're asking yourself, are these accurate? No, they're not accurate, but they're what we have to work with in the video game, so that's what we're going to work with. Oh, so that's what a contact looks like. That's his wake. Like, he's actually right there. Right where my cursor's at. Jesus Christ, this guy's close. This is making me nervous, man. Oh, I'm so nervous. I do not like being here. He definitely sees the periscope. There's no way he doesn't see us. Yeah. Oh, my word. I'd be calling emergency deep. Like, if we came to periscope depth and I saw this, emergency deep immediately. Yeah. I mean, he almost takes up half the photonics mask screen at no power. You know, mark on top, right? That's how you mark this range. He's where we are, sir. Range separation is depth at this point. Yeah. I do like the models in this game. That's a beautiful ship. It's a beautiful model. 1,500 yards. I shouldn't be mad about that, but I'm kind of mad about that. 1,500 yards. Look at that. She's so pretty. I wonder if we could see little guys smoking and joking up here. I wouldn't be smoking on an LNG carrier. Yeah, No. One spark is all it takes, and get a free rocket ride to the moon on this thing. Talk about hazardous duty. I wouldn't want to be on one of those. I don't like being this close to one of these things, much less on one. Yeah, you guys might want to take your screen grabs now, because I'm never getting this close to one of these things again. No, sir. Not happening. Anyway, classified, not a cruise ship. Do a quick safety sweep here, make sure it doesn't have a buddy. whenever you got a ship that's that close, it could easily be masking another contact you don't know about, because all sonar would hear is him, and if there was one behind him, you wouldn't see him either. So I guess I'll leave him on the camera so you guys can watch him, but we got to go check sonar. What I was looking for is there is a certain thing that happens to sonar when a contact gets that close. And it, well, it does that, of course. Oh, this, by the way, is a good way to get its course. You take this and add 90 to it, or I guess in this case it'd be subtract 90. Eventually his bearing will be his course too. And you'll get an effect where it kind of washes out your sphere. And that did not happen. So they may use Snell's law to calculate propagation path. They claim to do that. I believe them. It's apparent that they do that. They don't calculate the effects from the hydrophone point of view. They only do it from the source point of view, is what I see here. Because we should have saw something else, and I don't see it here. It's not in the game, I guess. Who is the second contact? Who is this one? Sierra 13 bearing what? 031. Is that a submarine? I mean, what the fuck? Hold on. I'm just curious. Let's look at Sierra 013. Let's back this way. 013. We have a very bright trace. Oh crap, I went past it. Right there. Okay. Yeah, Sierra. Oh, that's this guy. Okay. Cool beans. All right, so we verified high frequency range, 1,500 yards at full range. Oh, and then the next thing we want to do is look at Demon. So we know that guy's probably got a 4-bladed screw. Oh, crap. Hold on, he's in the baffles. Son of a gun. Heading north. Let's go 330. Yep. Okay. I'm going to bring him out of the baffles. We're going to look at his Demon trace. And we're going to look at what screw blade does the game say the LNG carrier has. So let's go to the documentation. Let's go to the here. We're going to go to the recognition guide. It's a very important document. Let's see here. Make sure all my personal information is not on the screen. Okay. Here we go. So it takes you to the actual PDF whenever you click it in the game. And so what we want to do is, it's this guy right here that we just saw. So let's see if they've got a table of contents. They don't. It is alphabetized, maybe? A? Does it go from A to B to C? I don't know. Yeah, it is alphabet. So he's an LNG carrier. Let's see if he's under the letter L. It stands for liquefied natural gas, if you're wondering. Okay. These are all the warships. Okay, so apparently it's warships first, which, that's good. Then I suppose submarines are next, maybe? That's a drone. That's cool. Another drone. Submarines. We'll come back to all these later. I got to figure out which one he is. I'm sorry for scrolling so fast. I don't mean to make your head spin. I just want to get down to to the right contact. If you want to go back and look at any of these, just let me know in the chat the next time I'm reading it. Don't do it now. I won't see it. There we go. Okay, so civilian vessels have their own category. It's chapter 3. Does that say presidential yacht? It sure does. That's going to be fun. All right, let's find the LNG carrier. It's probably only one LNG, I assume. And what we want to know is how many blades are on its screw. This is kind of important. They have a lot of civilian ships in this game. I like that. Good Lord. Aha. It looked like that one, but let's see if there's another one. There is. Oh, shit. All right, was it orange or white? Okay, so that's the difference visually. One has the white spheres and one has the orange spheres. Let's go back to the game and take a look at the spheres. You got to put on color. Oh my God, I can't see shit. Oh, we turned. That's right. Oh my God. Yeah, this is so bad. Okay, so he's still the one over there. He's still CR14, okay. All right, so what color are those spheres? Are they orange or are they white? Fuck. I don't know. Okay. Let's do both. All right, what is the screw blade? So 1 shaft, 4 blades is the orange one. 1 shaft, 5 blades is the white one. Of course it is. Of course it is. Okay. I need to know. And he's in the fog. Okay. Well, they don't look orange to me, so let's just say they're white. Let's say he's got a 5-bladed screw. I think if they were orange, they would stand out a lot more than they do. Let's go to Demon. Let's go to 014, which is right here. Sounds like a 4-blader. Yeah, 4. So they're orange in color. So what I'm trying to figure out is, turn that down a little bit. Is he 200 RPM? No, he's about 100 RPM. Wow, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Yeah, this Demon display does not show the right information. Well, I mean, it does. It just, I don't understand it. It doesn't do it the way that I'm trained. Like audibly, I'm counting 100 revolutions. But if I line up this line, it says 20. That's not right. 70. That's close. The 100 revolutions that I'm hearing is blank. So how do... Oh, 4-bladed. That's what it was. I'm hearing 100 revolutions. It's still pretty blank. That's a clean screw. I mean... Listening to that, you would be forgiven for thinking it might be a warship. All right, so we figured out the total range of the high-frequency sonar, 1,500 yards. The Demon, I'm not going to hang my hat on how to use this yet. The only thing that we get from Demon that we care about, there we go, is the shaft RPM, because that gives us the contact speed. It can also help with classification if we don't know, which is why I did it in reverse. I wanted to see who it was first. I should have put it on the color camera. I didn't realize that was going to be an issue. That's okay. And the screen's clear now. Cool. So we accomplished one of our 2 objectives today. And what's funny is if you change the range mode to... Oh, it's on there now. What the hell, video game? Did they patch this while I'm streaming? Is that even possible? All right, now we have the range numbers on it. Holy cow. Witchcraft, man. All right, 750 yards, 1,500 yards. All right. Well, maybe they updated the game. I don't think the game can update while it's running. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, it might have been. Yeah, it might have been that, Gorsey, too. I'd been banging my head on the wall for a week trying to figure that out. And in the end, it's right on the display. That's the whole reason why I was doing the stream today, is I wanted to get close to a contact that I knew what it was at periscope depth and just match what I see with what that thing sees, just to figure out the range. The demon, I still don't know, and there's nothing in the documentation. I think I can show you guys the document. Let me. Oh, without getting into the weeds here, I hope you guys don't mind this. But let's this is new. They just updated this. The guide, they call it. It's a big document too. Okay, here we go. Modern naval warfare, whatever. I don't want an AI summary. I can read, just not very well. Can you guys see that? It's too small for you guys. Let's zoom in a little bit. Zoom. There we go. That's good enough. All right. So the production editor is Ioannis. He's one of the two brothers that made the game. I'm hoping. I don't know the name of the Navy expert that they are working with, but I wonder if that's him there. I don't know his name though, so I can't. I have to go back and watch that SubSim live stream replay and see if they introduced the guest as at least by name, because I don't know who he was. So it goes over, the first part of the book is histories of submarines. That's nice to know. It even goes over some nuclear stuff, which I was interesting. And all this, by the way, is blessed by the U.S. Navy. So there's nothing in here that the Navy doesn't know is public. All right, so let's burn through the history. You guys can read the history when you buy the game, or just Google submarine history. You know, got some nice photos. That's the turtle. This is a brave guy right here. David Bushnell. The Hunley is a very sad story. The Hunley is the submarine that kept sinking and killing the crew. And then they would go out, drag it back up on the beach, get the bodies out, put more people in it, volunteers, and it sank again. This thing sank like 3 times. The Hunley. It was terrible. Death trap. Those guys were brave as hell going in that thing. Really good stuff here. Oh, there it is. That's Rickover. That gentleman. This guy is so smart. He's the father of the U.S. nuclear Navy, and then of U.S. nuclear submarines too. Yep. Nautilus. Yep. Nautilus. This guy's pointing to it. He's like, that is a submarine. And this guy is the actual expert. He's like, yes, yes. Whatever, suit and tie, man. Get out of here. The albacore. Yep. I have an interesting story about the albacore. I don't tell it because it's not positive, but these people did reach out to me, and that's what I'll leave it as. Just going to end that story right there, unfortunately. Oh, rafting. So I tried to explain rafting years ago, and this photo does more in one photo than I could ever explain. Each segment of the submarine as it's assembled is built on a floating deck called a raft. This deck does not touch the hull. Doesn't touch it. There's big, huge industrial strength sound isolation mounts all over this thing that attach it to the, I think they're called clips, that are on the side of the hull, that are touching the hull. And so it floats on a piece of rubber that I think they have a picture of. Oh my God, I hope so. Oof. That's a bad day right there. Let's do that. Where's the rubber mount at? Hold on. Okay. Well, whenever we get to the rubber mount, I'll point it out to you. Just remember the raft. This is lower level of one of the segments. I don't know which one. Got some machinery right here. And then, of course, there's a middle level. There's an upper level. All of them float. None of them touch the hull. That's why we're so quiet. That's one of the many chains of sound isolation that go into submarine construction. That's a great photo. I wish I had that photo when I was trying to describe it. I described it in one of my sub briefs, one of my earlier ones. And I had some comments by people that work in the shipyards telling me I didn't describe it right, which maybe I didn't do a good job. I don't know. Whenever I have an expert telling me I didn't do something right, I'll listen to them. But that photo really shows you how it floats. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to slide it into there and put it on the clips on the sound isolation mounts. This is a good, general drawing of how the reactor works. The big thing is that you have two completely isolated loops. So everybody that gets all upset of, radiation may blah, blah, blah. No, it's not going to happen. There it is. Yeah. This thing's huge. These come in different shapes and sizes, and it's Sonar's responsibility. You actually have a dedicated person that is responsible for every sound mount inside the submarine. Obviously not the ones attached to the hull, because that's outside the sub technically. But every piece of gear, the fucking ice cream machine has sound isolation mounts. And you're responsible for all of them. Each division will have a petty officer that looks at these regularly. I think it's once a quarter. I don't know what the duration is. And then they're supposed to, this never happens, but they're supposed to report to the sonarman that's responsible for all of them if there's any problems. If they get dried out, this is literally rubber. Like, this is metal, this is rubber of different types of densities, right? Shape, sizes, you name it. They're all different, all of them. And pain in the ass to replace. But whenever we go into the dry dock, guess who's replacing sound mounts for 10, 12 hours a day? Yeah, this guy. Because he couldn't keep his mouth shut during general assembly, I have stories that I'll never tell. All right, here's SHT, sound hull isolation mounts. These SHT tiles are always coming off. It's because as you go deep and, the hull actually compresses a little bit, and you do that enough times, and then you go fast, and then you go warm water, cold water, which expands and contracts not just the hull, but the actual sound isolation tiles. These things fall off, and they're cut to shape. Like, this one's got a little wedge point in it. This one over here is kind of blocky looking, They're all different shapes. This is actually a vent right here of some kind. I have some ideas of what it might be, but it's all right. Just know that these damn things come off all the time. And one day they'll get that tech right, but not today, apparently. Not in 2026. Yeah. Snorkeling. Oh, yeah, there's the two mast. So the photonics mast, take a close look at the shape. Take a look at what's on top. That's not in this game. I mean, it's in the game, but it's not on the mast. It's on a different mast. That's not a headlight. Oh, they have the radio. Okay, this is what it says about radio. These are the frequencies. This is what it does. I need to know how to operate the radio system in the radio room, please. I need that in the book, not this. This is nice. This is a reference. I need a guide. Two different things, Mr. Developer. I need to say right now, I like the developers. I saw them in meetings. They seem really cool. I'm not making fun of them. This does not help me operate the video game. That's all I'm saying. And there is the WECDIS, the Warship Electronic Chart Display and Information System. We had a guy in chat telling us the name here. And he's right. He was right. Oh, and there it is. Oh, here's the cob. Look at him. You see this little gold button down here? That's the cob button. That's why he's so angry. I haven't met a cob that wasn't angry. Why are you so angry, cob? That's good morning, right? Yeah. He's like, shut up. What have you done this time? I'm like, listen, the guy's an idiot, sir. You don't call the cob sir, by the way, but yeah. The sir is an idiot. And he's like, yes, the sir is an idiot, but you can't. Oh, that's Q10. That's my sonar system in the background there. Is that me? That's not me. That's somebody else. This guy's in trouble. What did he do? He looks like he's about to laugh. He's trying to not laugh in front of the cob. This cob about to whoop his ass. See this? He's got his calibration hand right there. He's ready to go. He's ready to go to war. I'm not sure what this crew member's saying, but it better be right, or else he's going to get calibrated. Okay. Oh, I love this. This is so good. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, you guys ready for some science? Let's do some science. I need to take a break. Oh my gosh. Hold on one second. I need to take a comfort break. So what we're going to do is, oh shit. Well, we got run over again. How about that? Hold on. I was doing teaching. We were doing book reading. Let's look at this guy so you guys got something to look at while I go alleviate myself of my responsibility of, okay. You guys can watch him. I'll be back whenever this guy is right about here. Okay. Actually, he's going pretty slow now. You guys just watch it. Are we turning still? No, wrong course. Okay. He should be going that way. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah. What the hell? How is he going to the left? Oh, we have more speed across line of sight than he has right now. That's how he's going to the left. Okay. That makes sense. That is kind of weird. We're only doing 5 knots, but we have 5 knots going north, whereas he's got all his knots going west. Therefore, he's going that way. Yeah. Okay, let's bring up the documentation again. All right, so this is what the game says about sonar. I'm going to try and stay calm. I'm going to be calm. Everything's fine. Whew. 70% of the Earth is water. Okay, we're off to a good start. That's Earth. The blue stuff is the wet stuff. Yep, checks. Okay, so here we're talking about topography. Here you can see the ridge, like the Mid-Atlantic Ridge right here. These are all important places to know. Even though it's very deep, you know, well below anything that you'll dive down to, you know where all that stuff's at. That's good. This is all good, just good general information. These are all the different bottom types. This is important to understand because sound, we're often in a bottom bounce environment. And so sound, when it hits the bottom, it's going to lose some energy. Well, it doesn't lose as much energy with some bottoms as it does with others. Some bottoms are so soft, it absorbs almost all the energy. So your bottom bounce isn't going to be very good. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, sea surface temperature. This is what we get from satellites. It's good to know where the fronts are, because just like you have fronts for weather, you have the same type of fronts in water. And the satellite picture here is just showing you the surface temperature. This will give you an idea of where the fronts are. It gets a lot more detailed than that, but for the game, this is more than we need to know, so that's fine. Oh, salinity. Salinity plays a major role in the sound speed profile, because the more salt you have in the water, the more dense the water is, thus the speed of sound goes up with more salt than with less, okay? But it doesn't play a major role, or it's very consistent. Let's put it that way. It's very consistent, except around, lakes and in littoral waters. Lakes, I meant rivers. And then in littoral waters, that's when you can see wild swings in salinity, which will greatly change your propagation. So just be aware that if you're ever in a scenario that's right next to the coastline and you can see the land, like through the Paravis or through the photonics mast, look for rivers, and then know that you may see some wild sonar conditions if that's the case. Here's some average salinities for you. This is really good. This is a good chart. So the Baltic Sea has less salt on average, parts per thousand, than say the Med. The Med's very high, yeah. The Red Sea as well. Yep. This is good. This is like taken right out of the book. Okay. This is where this book really pays off. This is showing you the actual like true physics formula for calculating density here. And this is density of seawater with an example, it looks like, of what is it using? At a temperature of 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Means 1 cubic meter weighs 100 kilograms. Oh, that's convenient. Okay, so that's why you would want to use that. Interesting. Okay. It's good that you know that these formulas, like in Sonar, you got to memorize these. You'll see a formula, maybe not this, but you'll see this one on every single rating exam. If you're an E4 trying to make E5, you better know this one. You probably better know this too. Not to the number, but just know that the Mediterranean has more salt than, say, the Baltic or whatever. You better know that much. Average temp, okay. Yeah, that's fine. This is literally copy and pasted right out of one of the Sonar books here. I was kind of surprised to see this today, but this is true. So this is a seasonal layer effect. This is the sound velocity profile going deep. Obviously, in the summer months for this latitude, July and August, warmer water gives you a higher speed. So you have higher temperature. Speed of sound in the water is a little bit higher in August than it is in July. In certain parts of the globe, think of Northern Hemisphere versus Southern Hemisphere, you're going to have differences, right? So you'd have a chart like this for the North Atlantic or the Baltic, you know. Each one would have its own example for seasonal layers. All right, so now we're getting into temperature versus depth. I like this. So this is kind of exaggerated, but I like the exaggeration. So you have near ISO, right, where the speed of sound goes down to a certain depth, maybe 500 or 600 feet, maybe 1,000 feet actually. So it says here, temperature is uniform with a slight change with depth. So it's pretty much straight up and down, even though it's got a small angle. That's very similar to what we saw in the scenario we were doing today. But as soon as we went below the layer in the simulator, we lost all contact. Well, that's because we had a significant change in speed of sound, but it wasn't this significant. It was a little more ISO. Let's take a look at what it actually looks like. Let's bring it up because I want to do a side by side here. And to finish my thought, this is a very strong layer. Right here, very strong, and down here, honestly. But let's get off this. Let's go back to the Sonar environment display. Let's turn off our active Sonar while we're here. Stop. Okay, let's take a look at the environment. So look how we're isometric down to 72 feet, and then it's really barely going a little bit to the left after that, compared to the book example. This is a strong layer because we see a very significant change. This is I would call this a weak layer. But in the game, as soon as we got below that layer, we lost all contacts. That is not realistic at all. So there's something in how the game is calculating propagation with layers that is exaggerated, is what it appears to me. What we see in the game, the layer should look like this. There should be a radical change between one line and another at a specific depth. And that just isn't happening here. This is almost, it's not quite a straight line, but it's not this. So that was my point for that. This is a salinity curve showing salinity going up and then it becomes pretty constant. Density. Temperature, salinity, and pressure all affect how dense the water is. What you're essentially calculating with this drawing is how dense the water is at different depths. All roads lead to density. And then with density, even though temperature is on this chart, with density is how the calculation is done for sound propagation. That's what the actual computer's using by inputting salinity, temperature, and pressure. I hope I didn't lose you on that one. That's a little bit in the weeds, but that's what the book is saying. And it's right. Decibel. If you're a sonarman, you better know this. Holy smokes. This is on every rating exam, no matter what your rank is. 20 log, 10 log, yep. And then P is pressure wave 1 by pressure wave 2, right? Because a decibel is basically a comparison of two energy levels to each other. And that's why you got P over PA here. Yeah, measured pressure. P is measured pressure versus a reference pressure. And this is where it gets really confusing. There's multiple reference pressures for decibel. So whenever you see a decibel, you really don't know what you're looking at until you know what the reference pressure is. Is it microbar, micropascal? Which one are you looking at? This one looks like it's Pascal. Probably says that right here, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, so the baseline for decibels is, there's 26 degrees. Okay, so for 26 decibel conversion factor is derived from a higher reference level. So if you had 20, where are they getting 20 from? 20 PA for air reference preference. Oh, for human hearing threshold, 1 kilohertz. Okay. They're trying to come up with an example, and they did. Just know that every decibel is just the difference between between a reference energy level and then the actual energy in the water or in the air. Could be in a medium. Okay, ambient noise, that's just background noise. Okay, this is kind of cool. This is accurate. Between 10 and 20 or 200 hertz is typically commercial shipping. That's what's going to raise and lower that decibel level. So if you have the thin line towed array out, you're trying to look all the way down to like 5, 10 hertz. If you have a lot of noise down there, well, the contributing factor isn't whales or even wind. It's too low frequency. It's commercial shipping. You have a lot of ships in the ocean within 100, 200 miles, causing a lot of noise, causing this area of your towed array to be very cluttered. Not necessarily with specific frequencies, just background noise. So let's bring that up. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Oh, we don't have a towed array out, do we? Shoot. Can I get an update? I might be able to get it from this. That's not going to be great. All right, I'm going to look at a target on narrowband. This isn't a towed array, so we're not going all the way down to the frequencies I'm talking about. But here you can see the contact, actually. Look at that. That's CR10. That's that merchant that was really broadside to us, like 7,000 yards away. This is what he looks like. This is his diesel. This is a harmonic of this. This is what it looks like. Does the math check? Math. Where's my frequency cursor at? This is like 1,000 hertz. Anyway, this grouping of lines is what we're going to use to classify the target. Right here. I'm going to ignore this one and just use this one. Always use the lowest, well, it's not true. When classifying, look for groups of tonals to help you classify quicker. That's a better statement. In Sonar, it is very rare that you can use the term always because it's all situational, which is why experience is so important. You need to have done this for a little bit and you can jump on things. Okay. We've already talked about temperature, salinity, and pressure, sound speed profile. That's an average one. I know a lot of people have been asking me about CZs, convergence zones. And if you look at this sound velocity profile, I'm going to say you're probably not going to have a convergent zone with this one. I don't know. Oh, the depth is in kilometers. That is odd. This pressure should be way out here, or it's very warm. That's what it is. So we got really high speed at the top and really high speed at the bottom. You've got a huge sound channel. The sound channel is going to propagate for a long ways. That's where the sound doesn't touch the bottom and it doesn't touch the surface. And because of that, there's no absorption, hardly. Just what's in the water itself absorbs the energy, which is very little compared to the bottom. So you're not likely to have a CZ in this environment because the speed of sound here at the bottom is not greater than at the top of the sound channel. Like if you drew a line straight down from the top down to here, and I'm not doing a good job of it, but it's almost 1-to-1. You need to have extra at the bottom beyond the point at the top to have a good CZ environment. And I don't see it on that one, but it is really deep water, so you might get a CZ anyway. Oh, good. Yes, this is perfect. This is almost what I was talking about. It's a slightly different SSP here, but notice how at the top, there's no sound channel to speak of. All the sound is being driven right to the bottom, which is what we see in the model. A lot of the sound, even though the submarine source, which would be us, active sonar or just noise we're making because we're running our engines, some of it's trying to get to the surface, but it doesn't quite make it. And all of it's getting shunt all the way down to the bottom where it literally bounces like a ball off the bottom and just inertia pushes it back up again. And then the change in density, essentially, it's getting less and less dense. Yeah, near the top because of the temperature going up. It's getting forced back down again. That's a good environment. That's a good example. I'm glad they put that in the book. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, I'm just going to ignore that. Oh, what are these formulas? They do talk about critical angle. What do they say about critical angle? So critical angle is the maximum incident angle a sound ray can still pass from a slower layer to a faster layer without experiencing total reflection. Okay. That's true. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's true. There's a huge part that's missing from this description. Attenuation and spreading loss. Okay, yeah. Attenuation is was that conversion to energy, right? Or is that absorption? Anyway, you got absorption, attenuation, and spreading. Spreading is just diffusion because you're going out into the water. It's just getting weaker and weaker as you go. Attenuation has a definition that I'm kind of blanking on, but it's attenuating the noise. That's the result of spreading loss and absorption. Here we go. Absorption, scattering. Okay, other factors. Here we go. So absorption refers to the process in which sound energy is converted to heat. Yeah. So that's absorption. This is talking about bottom layers. What does it say about that? Okay. Oh, viscous loss. This refers to friction between oscillating water molecules. Okay. Impacts frequencies at 100 kilohertz. So what is really high frequency in our sonar system that might be affected by this? Maybe our high freq active, maybe, possibly. It's good they have it in the book. I don't want you guys to get lost in those numbers because operationally, it's good to have this reference. You don't need to memorize that. Oh, direct path. This is a really good example. When you have a near isometric SVP, see how it changes technically, but it's very little. Kind of like ours. This is what we should be seeing. I'm trying to get them both on the screen at the same time. Why is the sound in the game not doing this, developer? Come on, bro. There's more of a layer here than there is here. And we're losing contact at 70 feet when we go below the layer. Something's wrong with the propagation calculation. I'm not yelling at the developer. I like the guys. Please forgive me I'm just passionate about this topic. That's all that is. That's my love of the game coming out. Now here we go. This is good. So this is a good example of what we're seeing actually. I like this. This is good. This is what we're seeing in the game with the near ISO here. Sound speed in kilometers per second. Okay. That's still fine. So why does it have so what it's saying here is the layer is right about here where it goes to the left, causing a surface duct. This is exactly what the game is modeling in this scenario right here. Surface duct occurs between the sonic layer depth, which is layer depth, and what? And the surface. Yeah. So the developer would probably point me to this figure and be like, that's why you're seeing it. Okay. So this is a good one. So here's the surface of the water. Here's the axes of the sound channel. The sound channel is the center, or the point of least speed, lowest speed, of this little curve here. What's happening here is all the sound up here is getting pushed down, and all the sound below this point is getting pushed up. So when sound gets into the sound channel, it often gets trapped in there. Once it enters the sound channel, it doesn't escape, and it goes for a long time, 50, 60, 100 miles, depending on frequency and how loud it is. It can go a very long way. I used this, I didn't want to, but we ended up in this environment in the mid-Atlantic one year when I was on one of my submarines, and we tracked the same contact in this sound channel because it wasn't going anywhere. It was just doing something very loudly, and we tracked him for like 6 weeks. We had the same Sierra number for 6 weeks, and it got to the point, I think it was around week 2, I had to explain to the wardroom why we can't get rid of this contact and if we were counter detected or not. Was he tracking us? No, we're tracking him, but he's just loud. That was a fun day. Let me tell you what. Captain wants to talk to you in the wardroom. Those are words you don't want to hear, especially when you're sleeping in the shower with the water on. It's where Sonar Tech sleep. It's where we hang out. All right. Here's another example of how sound is being pushed up. Oh, this is a CZ. It's right there. It's labeled. Hey, it's on your screen. Let's maximize this for full effect. So take a look at the sound speed profile here. Look at the sound speed at the surface. This is really important. And draw a line straight down to where it meets it again. So I'll say right about there. Everything on the sound speed profile, that direction of my cursor is called a critical depth excess, or excess depth. Yeah. I think it's called excess. Anyway, this is the part that creates the CZ. And when you don't see this, like I didn't have it on the other one, I wouldn't expect to see a CZ. But when you do see it like we have now, you definitely have a CZ. And do you know what? It doesn't matter what water depth is. Okay. You're not going to see this in real life in 100 feet of water. Let's be real. But if you see this and it's 600 feet of water, it's still a CZ. It's not going 20 miles because you're in 600 feet of water, but you've met the requirements for a CZ. So be careful of the people out there on certain Discord channels that I don't talk in, but I read about how a CZ depends on water depth. It depends on depth excess. Write that down. To the right of my cursor is sound speed depth excess because it's faster than the sound speed at the surface. Doesn't matter what the depth is, but in 99.9% of the time, this will be deep water. Shadow zones. Oh boy. Pretty basic. This is the gap between your direct path, which is this line right here, and your first bottom bounce. And it creates this wedge of what is commonly called in the civilian world an acoustic shadow. This was famously documented in the Battle of Gettysburg, where this huge battle went on for 3 days with cannonade after cannonade every day. And some of the people on the battlefield on the Confederate side didn't hear the cannons from Cemetery Ridge because the sound bounced over them. So they went from hearing the cannons to not hearing the cannons, thinking they stopped, and they didn't. And they marched a little bit farther, and they did hear the cannons again. It was witchcraft to them. They were like, what the hell's going on? This is weird, But it was an acoustic shadow. This is a good demonstration of it. I wish they would show this. Whenever you have a layer, you can have something completely different, which is really cool, but it's not. The layer's so shallow. It's not really showing it to you. I'm hoping that whenever we get into more environments in the actual sim, I can put own ship in different areas around the world to show you guys how different the Atlantic is from the Pacific is from the South China Sea. It's really cool how not all oceans are built the same, you know. From an acoustic sonar point of view, you know, weather, time of year, it all makes a difference. Here we go. Oh yeah, the passive sonar equation. You better have this memorized. Write this down. SE equals TSL minus TL minus parentheses NL signal directivity index. That's what DI stands for. Minus DT, which is detox, which is something I'll never go through because I'm not addicted. I know, right? How many times do sonar techs shower? Every day. Before watch and after watch. Sometimes I've been relieved on watch by a fellow sonar supervisor so that I could go take a shower while on watch. And then I go and next time he's on watch, I'll relieve him. We make sure we get our showers in. We use our allotted water every day. Every day. Signal excess. Even though these equations look simple because they're plus and minus, how hard is that, right? Order of operations, right? Each variable is actually a product of multiple engineering subsystems. That's true. Directivity index is the biggest thing. Directivity index is how good is your beamformer? How good is your sonar system? Russians ain't got good DI. Neither do China. Americans got pretty good DI. That's because they got me. Where's the human factor in this? Oh, wow. Well, I guess it would be under here. Signal excess. What does it say about NL? That's loss. This is signal strength. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why they don't define each term. They should. This is transmission loss. This is target strength. This is something loss. N loss. Noise loss. Oh, God, I'm brain farting. I got to look that one up. Signal. And then directivity index. And then DT. What is DT? Detection threshold. That's where your operator would be. Yeah, that's your sonar operator. How good is he at detecting the noise on his screen? Blinding him because it's so bright and he still doesn't hear it. That's your sonar operator right there. Oh, beamforming. This is fun. So, like, how does the towed array know what direction a contact is? Well, a couple ways of doing it is delay and sum beamformer. So there's a time delay based on the source as to when it hits the towed array. The towed array is like a noodle out behind us, right? And if a source is perpendicular, like right off the 90-degree angle, looking like a letter T, right? It's right in the middle of the towed array, a couple thousand yards that way. That means the middle transducer is seeing it at time whatever, time zero we'll call it. And then the transducers next to it, this would actually be hydrophones, by the way. Fix the book. It should say hydrophones. This hydrophone we'll have time zero. And then like a millisecond later, you'll have T1 and T2. And if it's perfectly 90 degrees, T1 and T2 will be the same time. 1 millisecond or 1.00 milliseconds. These things run at ridiculous speeds, like CPU speeds. Yeah. And they do these measurements over and over again, millions of times a second. It's so fast. And it's incredibly complex. Sonar computers are no joke. Like, they put some work in. Way more than my operators do, those guys. I have to have a talk with them. Okay, acoustics in shallow water is very complex. Yeah, very complex in shallow waters. That's all you need to know about that. This is kind of funny. Why not use radar and laser? Okay, general sensors. Wow, where did that come from? Modern electronic sensors like radar and sonar are have incredible precision, but they can be detected, is what it's going to say eventually. Lasers underwater. Oh, because of the frequency of the laser, you're not going to go anywhere. We fooled around with, was it blue lasers in the Navy in the 1990s? And we just couldn't get them to work. I mean, you had to put so much power into them. And we're like, well, so what? We got a nuclear reactor. Yeah. Well, you also need to have a big ass generator. Okay. Yeah. The blue green laser. Oh, they are going to talk about it. Oh, this is good. Okay. The attenuation coefficient of a blue-green laser light typically ranges from 0.1 to 1 decibel per meter in clean water, which ain't salt water, which ain't seawater, which all got the fish and poop and coral all floating around in it. Okay. Yeah, this is good. It basically means you're going to get so much loss. Your signal strength would be enormous, and you still wouldn't get a good anything out of it. As soon as anything that's above a sonar signal, which, God, we'll say above 300,000 hertz, you're going to have so much attenuation, there's no point. Beam diffusion. Okay, radar underwater. This is what I wanted to reread. I kind of skimmed over this, and I think the developer might have let's just see what he says first before I make a judgment. It says, despite extensive military air experimentation to adapt high-power radar arrays for underwater tracking, radio wave detection in the ocean is physically impossible. Radar systems rely on high-frequency electromagnetic radio waves, which are instantly absorbed and scattered. The primary driver of the failure is the high electrical conductivity of ocean water. That's true. This is all true. Salt water acts as an incredible efficient electrical conductor, which serves to instantly attenuate and dissipate radio frequencies. Okay. He's right. Okay. So the gigahertz microwave bands common to standard military radars, L, S, and X bands, the attenuation rate is a staggering 1,000 decibels per meter, which means it's not going anywhere. It's not even going to go that 1 meter. I wonder if this is where I don't know. And I really want to talk to the devs about this one, because they are convinced we cannot use our radar at periscope depth. But it's not because it's underwater. You raise it like you raise the fucking periscope, so it's not. And then when it's not underwater, guess what the radar does? It works. But the devs that built the game where the radar goes up and down, so they already know that. But they don't let you use the radar at periscope depth, even though you can raise it like you raise the periscope. I don't mean to yell at. Sorry for yelling at you. Oh, here we go. Oh, hell, this looks like I wrote the book here. Sound is lazy and it always curves towards the slowest medium. Bro. Don't try to make it sound fancy. Okay, sound is lazy. It always curves towards the slowest speed of sound on your SSP. Let's go back to the SSP. Where's the slowest speed of sound in our example today? Can you guys see that? Fuck, I'm in the way. Why am I in the way? Okay. Right here. Slowest speed of sound is right about here. It's the most left-hand point of the speed of sound. You know what? I could probably put it up here. Oh, I can. Oh, yeah. Okay, you guys will be able to see it better here. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Where the blue line is above my head is the slowest speed of sound in this SSP. That's where all the sound wants to go, but it overshoots and hits the bottom and becomes bottom bounce. That happens. When doesn't that happen? When you have depth excess, speed of sound excess below critical depth on your SSP, as the ancient texts showed us earlier. This is not witchcraft. This is science, but it feels like witchcraft sometimes. I mean, we do burn the voodoo, incense and have the gong, in Sonar. That's true. We have the magic 8-ball that answers the questions. Every submarine has one of those. It comes issued with the sub. But that's all that sentence is trying to say is every sound, whether it's coming from a surface ship or a submarine or a crab, selling crab cakes from a lobster trap, all the sound is being pushed to the blue line here. This blue line that shows that. And then sometimes it keeps on going, but eventually it's trying to get back to the blue line until it runs out of energy entirely. That's all that means. And that's probably the most important thing in this book so far is sound is lazy. It does not want to go fast. It does go fast, but it burns all its energy doing it. Because it's lazy, it's trying not to do that. It's trying to get down to the minimum sound velocity. And the reason why the word medium I don't like here. Uh-oh. Did I go past it? I might have. Do you know what's the medium in our example today? Well, it's the water. So you could have said water, but the way I would have phrased it was the slowest speed of sound in the medium. If you want to keep the word medium in there, but you got to have the slowest speed of sound. The slowest what? You're missing a fucking noun. Pardon me. And then you have the appendix. Wow. I just threw out a couple of letters there. Critical angle we talked about. Spherical spreading. They have cylindrical spreading. I wonder if they have spherical. We talked about density. I just want to see if there's any terms that we really need to. We've already talked about the important ones. Oh boy. Hold on. Let me back up. My brain went on a little trip there, but he's back now. All right. We talked about what up here? It was cylindrical, right? Cylindrical spreading. So what's the other one? Is it in the book? No. Why do you have one and not the other? Okay. And here are all the references. All the stuff is public information. All of it is. There you go. This is a really good book. I'm really happy with the guide. I have some nitpicks that I kind of blew up for entertainment value. Seriously, if I was to be serious for a second, it's really good. This is a very good sim. I don't agree with all the propagation math, and I don't agree with some of the wording, but that's not a big deal at all. You guys got me to translate that shit for you. So I'll show you guys how to get good at this game. I will. I promise you that. We just got to get a couple updates and we'll be good to go. Now, I'm going to read some chat. We're wrapping up here, so I'm going to answer your questions before we finish this. The official term is poop in the water. Yeah. Talking about contamination. Poop does raise the density of water. That's just science. Science. Yeah, we're looking at manuals. What's the link to the manuals? It's in the game, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they want you to have the link unless you buy the game, because they only give us this. Like, that's an HTTP address, but I don't know if that's real. That might just be a little, if you guys want to try it, go for it. But if you go inside the game, it's all clickable. I'll leave this on the screen for you. I could show the page I could, but I don't think I'm supposed to, mad. Yeah. But I can't stop you from typing that in, though. Yeah. All right. Kilt says it's real. All right. Cool. Yeah. Knock yourself out. Read the guide and don't nitpick it like I did. I'm having some fun with the devs, and the poor devs have been getting so much hate recently. I'm not going to pile on them. Whenever they're back on their feet and making millions of dollars again, that's when I'll make fun of them. I'm going to punch up, not punch down. Right. And I'm sure they're not done with the guide either. This is not like the final version of anything. So, but I'll leave this up here for you. You guys can type that in. Oh, it says no authorization. Okay. I'm not surprised. Maybe they got it linked somehow to the game. Yeah. See, Awesome 1941 says, would you say that diesel boats are more viable for countries that don't have huge shorelines to patrol? Well, yeah, I mean, I would say that. I would also say it depends on their GDP. Can you afford a nuke boat? Because if you can do it, get one. Nightcrawler says does not work. Okay, typing that in does not work. Sorry. Whenever you get the game, and I know almost all of you are going to get it as soon as it's available, the links are right here on the displays, and you just click them, and then you can save them as a document. But I don't feel comfortable giving you the web address on the document. I don't think I'm supposed to. Okay? Sorry. Oh, wow. Someone says it works. Okay. Listen, hey, if it works for you, it works for you. That's great. All right. I think I've answered all the questions. Hey, I hope you guys had a great holiday. Thanks for hanging out with me for a couple hours. Look how late it is. Well, I think we spent more time talking about the manual than playing the game. As soon as they update this game with anything, I'm going to take a look at what the changes are, and we'll do a stream on that. And I'll start making tutorials as soon as I get an answer on the demon. Because the way they do demon in the game is a little different than reality, and I don't know the answer. We went through the book, and it didn't mention the demon display once. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, the answer's on the screen. I just don't know which answer is the right answer. Yeah, that's probably the best way for me to put it. Oh, there's another question here. He says, curious, how would a sub act if it found itself in fresh water? It would sink. You would have to pump water off. You would become very heavy in fresh water compared to salt water because of the density. Yeah. Yep. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. This is a good simulation, guys. Please don't hate on it. And they are working to get it released. Okay. They know everyone's upset. You don't need to keep telling them. Please don't bug them. Just let them do their job and work with Steam and get it out to you. Okay. All right. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Next stream is Wednesday, Cold Waters arcade game. Going to have lots of fun throwing torpedoes around like we just don't care. Like Oprah's throwing out car keys. We throw out torpedoes, and that'll be a lot of fun. I'll see you guys then. All right. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.